Anumre ya trase ana ya trase. Ya den sem kakra bi na ma ye ne mu nyina eba na ya beche afa. Ene anumre yi ya beto ade ye ne nra no so. Enra ye kasafa Jubilee House a enra MPP amanyokuo eje Jubilee House. Enam so ema ayam hihye ne osuro ebeto NDC for so because enkopem enra nyina na NDC for adwene ye omo se MPP amanyokuo no nipa bia eni akire biem na nra me de nsem bi be kire mo ha na mensian ba besi so bia maame bia ye fa ne na Jantuah ene maame we isu se ye disrespect no na ne disrespect no ye ba ne abekire mu why she should never say somebody has disrespected her na me mesre atiefo nyina se obi bia nra na opesom french na adwen e wo na Jantuah na ansemi ho a bibi ntimantumi amfa ne call no omfa ncheme ene maba ye bedi nkomo kakra bi ye di nkomo wi a ye be line atum na obia nso atumi aba na oba abekire na adwen abusiamfo de na asie de asie nyina ne se Yewura Mahama who said the NDC is weak. I said part of a catcher, ye call assemble across but ye shall see a free hanum. Yewura Mahama who said the leadership in the parliament ye lead by Papa Yefene Mahama Yariga. Or you're very weak because you do not compare Afenyo-Markin, sir. Naturally say Mahama Yariga. He is not up to the standard to face Afenyo-Markin. And I'm so sentiment now me no ka say. And this Amanyoko upon Mahama Yariga Afri, the leadership of the party or of government business or parliament. And now me no ka say Fatu Timu say Afenyo-Markin. Enye demonstration munkwa no ye powerful. Even intellectually, our parliament hono. But bia yesu su dwene se anyansafo titre omo wo manum eho no motie no Afenyo-Markin etumi de pressure koho ema enipa binom te se Mahama Yariga omo ntumi enyina sampempenso no ene Afenyo-Markin enye den eni etre ema ne nyeye enti ene nam so ama reshuffle na Mahama se oba abeya na ye mu binom ye dwene se NDC MPs binom a moye ministers ebiti Sam George okujato abrakwa Sam George sa ankrofo we ye mu bi ne ye dwene se omumum na omo se nka ye nyi omo reshuffle ye mpam omo emfide adwuma omo ye because sa ankrofo no amo omo homodere kura me de nipa me yensa na mehwe se nka ebe pam won Hadi na Idrusu, Sam George, ena hwan, ena okujato abrakwa. The entire mehwe senke ebe pam nkrofo we nyina se san nkrofo we are very disgraceful to the Mahama administration. But I am saying ma NDC amanyokom no atemu die no eya de bi ase wo ya obeye party no eba kronkron a yentumi enyi wadi because yenim say ye obone a enam say ye training uma unim atemudi na utumi ka de opɛ de kyerɛ mpanyimfo ntino and this aban esiro say enkrofo we ya omo ne training won mo bɛyɛ atemudiefo a ɛwɔ brofo kasam ubetumi afrɛ won babies with sharp teeth no say Mahama suro won Mahama suro wo yie pa enti ene nam so ma reshuffle na na ebeba no na yedwen se enkrofo miensa we die nka yebepamo afira ban no mu hali na Idrusu mo ne homodren kete education sector. The education ministry is one of the failures of John Mahama's administration. So they compare enyuma na nado dan Kufuor aban ye ne the education sector and the education ministry. Near they compare the hali na Idrusu ye ne minyaba di ma. Ye de yaswan chine yaswan suo. Yaswan chine yaswan sa. Ye hu de emu edru. Hadi na Idrusu okujata abrakwa Sam Kwasi Ampanyini George. saa nkrofo mienu wei saa nkrofo miensa wei they don't deserve to be ministers anymore because promises or more promises yeah and somebody or more kafa ministry no more handle when they were in opposition no omo betna akonwa no so no ye hu nsesa ye bia a free ho aba enti saa nkrofo na o se nka ye nsesa won me ma me Esther Kebari ma me mo akwa aba na me nwa ba na akua afro won so me mo akwa aba ye pa saa nkrofo na nka ye pese nye den ye nsesa won bet de na asie de akwa akosie ne se NDC amanyoko na hu se Mahama Yarega ye weak leader in the parliament omohu nkwase akeka ni jimekeka na nonsensical comparison na oye na parliament wo sa change wo ya ba kire wo se omanum nyansani bi a wote the procedures in parliament ahu se Mahama Yarega ommo number in parliament or ye just a joker in the parliament because anytime Afenyo-Markin stand out and speak in the parliament he shake the grounds and into enam so ene ama NDC for ede sa update we yaba ene Mahama Yarega onye no more the leader of parliament and he said the ohune wo screaming sui ena me no kasa finally maame a ye friend Zenatan Ajman Rollins Wenya ministry, this is the first time Mahama appointed Rollins in a Baba way to become the Minister of Environment, Science and Technology. And Mahama Yarega so now ye majority leader in Parliament. Ye na free majority leadership ho. Et na kwa koshe Minister of Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs. Sab movement way esanso ye killing of Wasiedun Katia because Ahmed Ibrahim Anoye, the Minister of Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, no, or Yasiedun Katia Yamuba ni Yamuba kro prekopeno no. And you being so manage that affairs, no, Eyobia is actually connected to the grassroots, to the people. And to say be able to chat Asiedun Katia 19 no. Ye ne dofuba na frisa position ho ene de Mahama Yarega oye butuleka ema Mahama ye de na kwa akoshe ho said ye be ya obeye Mahama Juma edi amano Minister of Defense na Enuel Boama ena na da no okaba bi ehon so ye de Kenneth Gilbert Ajay ena kwa akoshe ho ena sie dunkatia homeboy ai ye de na kwa akoshe Minister of Works, Housing and Water Resources. Just say you have no contact with anybody at the grounds. Where any of the update coming in from the NDC side. When the child say 2028 about to never kwa kotoro. And Krofobinuma shall say a pressure no anwet. They can't resist anymore. Tibi yepa, tibasabra beka di yepa. Sansi sanwe we aba wo parliament na kire wo se ye nyankon koto aba no but ayemu hyehye ebinum yamu tu ebinum omusro because they have seen say especially after the demonstration of yesterday and this amanyoko no esro enepa and the NDC government and the NDC sympathizers they have seen say yes in fact you can never work on the MPP as if they are no more exist. And to win uncle fan chinchemu wene chinchim way about the NDC government na and Sisayaka Siente say Ediaba. Now Afenyo-Markin is going to press on their neck. He's going to press on their neck in the parliament and said the Afenyo country Ghana for say before the end of 2028. Each and every Ghanaian will see the true character of the incompetent NDC party that is leading the country today. Afenyo ne kaye, or see before the 2028, now every Ghanaian has actually understand the true colors of this bogus political party. Ine omune di abayin anymore, omoye omoniema basa ene kwanya ense emfataso na yegusu a Afempo ena ya hyase temi ye pa me se de ben ye guso afempo ne ya hyase ye nya nruba bia mpo yi ena nkrofo yi omoto hyehye omo a sese ye nsesaye ensesaye de ntie ye nsesaye a because pressure na eba no the way Afenyo-Markin is handling the parliament no they say these guys cannot handle him anymore, so they have to change and bring in a new person. New way of leading a government business in parliament. Yemfa wensio na yen coming back into our story. Abushan for the MPP demonstration of Moye Nenrano. The demonstration that went on yesterday. A nipa etu say Jim Efa Accra Efa Jubilee House e cover bibia na busia me barima. There are more reasons behind. Now in this, there is one particular woman or say she has been disrespected. My minister, why you disrespected though? Why you disrespected? Adentia. Or say your call, say the petition a call. Or on a beji, ye MPP from 0.4 antiasie. MPP from 0.4 a catch then say. And ye or no in say, in per se, and our more person, more money, and or more engineering tomorrow. Now, how much they say, based on the at the end of more day banner, how important it is in Tino. I was saying a minister be, and I even somebody our caliber mu drew sene or no sama meno, and I never saying comra no magic petition no. My man so say we ye kan ye no. Ama ono no sama meno. Ofidi said ye ben. MPP has disrespected her. And I'm so many the NDC communicators around the group. And then the diamond can say, omo content your more creating and any the more can radio ni TV so say Afenyo-Markin has disrespected who? Na mami e friend na Jantuah. Now when we say my bre ebre said osem kafo kan ye osi bibiara e woni mre. Abusia like video na share mame. Me se mamre ne bre na mbre ebe mawo enkyerkyeremu ama wate ho ase ama wahu de ekọ na wate bibia ase. Sa ma mi Jantuah na onam a otwa adwajo no. Sa ma me no. Woni mu nsem a waka afa nipa ye fa na na dodanko akufu ado ho pen. Na asem no ba na ye can say na wonim the character of the person that we are talking about. One hwe ya wonte ase. Be say adentia obi a wanyina duru samfie we se be we young guy na utumi ebegyina platform ma NTC so e ka ne ho asem. Me ba ma se wonim ma me no wonim ne conduct wonte comment bi no make ye when another was in power you may think say and okre Afenyo-Markin this is repeating Dabi. And Tesada Afenyo-Markin knew what he did. He had a reason to conduct himself that way. Anyhow, Afenyo-Markin conducted himself yesterday at the Jubilee House entrance. It was well orchestrated and strategically motivated to do the way that he did. Because any man crofo we dia man for in opposition. And some of one can fa and painful binum ho in opposition. Say ye can say. Omon chire yen. Say ye kese ye transi achire odienti omoka sansem na. You wouldn't sabe show no man say. Was there a reason to get to that point? Me about ma. Hands ne ba be boy wura mu no. Odi tie video we me ba na ye jagum.
Beba haim se hainish yatra okay haino di trosun kunim and I say this sum kunim me wan say enye yes sister nkwa but nana ya Jantuah na mu ayo trofo. This same Nana ya Jantuah ya yenimu a odi kenkene fish be campaign 2024. I ne yesi o mema the price of kenken fish I was say ondi kenke bio no ondi dokono bio. Because sebi when you bought like in a juma warrior and neno your money position as a presidential staffer you the taxpayers money chianica there's one beka Ghana hon somewhere no beboa sebi on became be ha Nana ya Jantuah to me call Dr. Elijah Mahmoud as an autistic person yanka ne ho asema na yanchina ntum sebi papa Afenyo-Markin oko gina hono no o say na eba ne sen na mo beka impoko atu forcing time on no occupy Bank of Ghana no. Yes, my director of security. Senka onfa a whole retired military person.
I'm sorry, watch man.
A whole retired military man. A whole retired military man. Yeah, director of security. Onyo Obiakeke at Bank of Ghana. Se onfa onje petition no. Ato force se onfa more name fam money pa connection. They refused to hand over that petition to them in 2023. Then them refi mo betina akasa. In the Mashuma Sebi, a bottlicking presidential staffer. I'm an baby Jine, any one of one Sebi, a whole petitioner, a whole minority leader, a Jinemu, a whole general secretary of the NPP Jinemu, Sebi, in Penyifu, members of the parliament, former members of parliament, chief of staff, Sebio. More bejina hono de Nana ya Jantuah kwa bejina hono no kwa na member petition. The only thing that Afenyo-Markin was like, Ebane saying sebi yenim say politics near ye nanso so eni die fata sebi de wo se die eni die ma obo fata sebi de wo se die obo ma enu nti no nanka ebeye fe senka de ma me na Jantuah ebe nanka enkofo so ye den edie kire nanka aye fe democracy no ne fra eya no he never ever said it to say ma me no ne su nimfa so anaso no kwa beje ye no da bi o se enka ma me na ba nanka enkofo so kakre bi mienu maako bi kan ho ena nkomo ba ya and careful because empenyifu anim and a sebi or moba and unti a whole bottlicking presidential staff idea on to be jina empenyifu anim sa sebi
Mate, I'll come back to AFL man. Now people take on that particular report or raise this issue.
Yes, interbusian for that bottlicking political prostitute Semami Jantuah Entimama the receiver of a complaint issued by the whole country. That be any possible. Enyefe. Na ebi ana na wa hu asema yura Afenyo-Markin ya ma mense wadwa no. Ode video way. I'm coming.
Expected the chief of staff or the deputy or a very senior member of government under the circumstance should have been part of this discourse and to lead it. We feel that with great respect to you and without prejudice to your presence, to nominate only you to come amount to disrespecting us as a political party. I'm the leader of the party in parliament. You have the general secretary of the party here. You have the chief of staff of the flag bearer. We have the chairman of the Constitutional Affairs Committee of the party. Members of Parliament and the leadership of Parliament are all here. But to disrespect our democracy by only nominating you to come, like I said, with great deference to you, it doesn't match it. So it means that the government does not even take serious the grave issues before us.
Asem way ena Afenyo-Markins. Temiye pa. Asem way ena Afenyo-Markins. Eka edichire maami a yefe na Jantuah. Pacho temiye pa. Asem way na Afenyo-Markins ka chire maami a yefe na Jantuah. Abra odi the petition ekwa komano. Maami we huru ya wadwa adanya ose Afenyo-Markins I disrespect no. Now yes, give time some time and the reality will come out. Me barima tie asema maami we maami ko hwini sa no ti asɛm a ɔno etimi etna national television so ɛka de kyerɛ the then sitting president of the land. Pachote mi yepa. I want you to listen to the words from this woman. And some mami we ya mami osi oye obi ono no oye debe oye well trained one bonten on ton ice cream or car kwan chain ne mami ne papa no me lawyer ne mami e drink school or UK or can bebre. But upon all the description on one kasa the man considering herself as superior to others no my brother my sister me be say wunti asema maami wetimi national television so a candidate a then sitting president, and that time Kwasi Abawe who said that was disrespectful statement. Sabre we no maami we who anka said that be I come from a very respected family. Enti maami nka asem bi eti say emfa nkyere papa odigana man so. Sabre mo no maame we ye ntumi ehu se na otikuma ase na oni MPP fo mpanfo na na etwi bom when they were young. Sabre we mo maame we ye ehu se oya kani oye kumase ni asanteni ba enti se okasa na wankasa yi a ekọ editia ya mane ya mamre ene ne ma ye na oye ya brabo. Sabre mo no enam tane ya promise no of presidential staffer position tino. Asembia na papa mami we ebetumi atena baabi aka a ebema ne anohoba ye de ama no no ebeye successful no. This woman was ready to say that. Tie video we na ye pa ya sign atie another video. Mpacho tie.
Complete error and a mistake.
You cannot say that.
I can say that bestowed on this country.
Posterity will judge.
The day that we voted for him, that is the day we destroyed our nation. Roland, I am telling you. Even the last thing that he has done without remorse, awarding himself as the best president. When I say that Nanado has the tendencies of Nebuchadnezzar, people think that I am joking. He awarded himself as the best president. Yes, what is the meaning of that? He is an error, he is a mistake, something that we have bestowed on us. He has brought darkness to this nation. I am serious, please. The state of the nation is my pocket, your pocket, everybody's pocket. That this Christmas we could not even buy chicken. That is the state of the nation. And I do not even know why he's being given this.
You bought chicken. You cannot say you. Are you saying ordinary Ghanaians averagely?
I'm also an ordinary Ghanaian. Am I not an ordinary Ghanaian? Am I any different from anybody else on the streets? I am not. You see, they are saying that it is statutory.
And Pachoche eti asema mami we kan yo. Mami we timi tena nipa doma nim on a national television Fred Yewura Nanado Danko Akufo-Addo as an error of human being. An error. So si nipa no oye error. Sabre we mo no Kwasi Aba we ye nhu nyansa nhu se oye asantini o. Wa nhu nyansa nhu se yetete ne wo fie. Wa nhu nyansa nhu se ne papa aye lawyer. Well, Hunyansa who said Oko school papa wa brochire. Well, Hunyansa who said she come from a lawyer family. But just a simple thing. Afenyo-Markin. Afenyo-Markin ni dinner tem. Afenyo just told her, "Ye disrespectful say ye basi ye di petition eba. Na ya soma won kwa sebra na beji petition no fako. And so ye ni a lack of respect. A lack of what? Respect. That means the ye piano and famo yentio bia repeating. Almost history always repeat itself. I was sure like a video no, not share na yanko yani. That is the NPP ni Ghana for ye. was street hono. NDC amanyoko se emfa omo ho. In fact, kwasi ampanyi bi aba abontre ka kire Ghana fo nyina se sa petition na MPP for the call ye no. Omo NDC fo. Omo ni adaje a omo be kan sa petition na mana yeye. Bacho tim ye pa. Ene obi na ma abontre otiatem ka kire Ghana fo nyina se sa petition na ye de call Jubilee House ho no. Eye petition bia NDC amanyoko ni NDC abai eni adaje a omo befa akenkan de yatwere ne wom. Enti say if this is what the NDC people are saying there, say if this is what the NDC people are saying there, nenye Afenyo-Markin was right. Pachotim yepa. Afenyo-Markin was right to tell them, say, it is disrespectful for only one chief staffer, presidential staffer, to come and receive what they had or what they have brought in to what? To the president. Now, amana yade bi oho nkrofo esu they are crying and obiaba bonten akwabudietie ono no say e wo se Afenyo-Markin se nkono nkopa maame na chew na ha nkrofo we po wo esere papa nani abre den Afenyo-Markin se nkopa maame na chew na se wankopa na chew a na se Afenyo-Markin en muade pacho TV di we na minim say NDC for this so more sensible pacho tie
it is say most more say you Afenyo-Markin ebeba be party one party wa de NBC
so and yeah it's na so ne ban it's na su and ne ban said the tete no say na wo na manyo sempa
na we chop awo
me say oba ye nyojo no yen kemra yen su obati fom sabe o yiri wo fia so hu se oni oba bi kasa oba de ye hoahoa no sabe eye oba kra oba ye no nkate se wo hwe wanum kasa yiye so hu maami ya obaji ya de wanyi sinu bebre anya manya sam na ye bia anyi sinu bebre nya otopan yen kasa oba enim sa na tu unko aban kesi mu unko kasa atemfin no. We don't do that. This is presidency of Ghana. Presidency of Ghana. Na a presidential officers na e Jubilee House no bi empie and as o manpanyi wo and wo empia mesiamo. Amampanyi o manpanyi ni mpanyifo nyina aban yi akukudam empanyifo nyina atia yemu a Yesu. O se amaje petition. Adan. And no democracy banner no.
Yeah. Assembly of up akwa we kan ya. Eme ye me won tie oso omuntie omunti adaje omukotie omukọ redi asema Afenyo-Markin de call entie
sa aka ta ya mutu obi be hwem
tie ni yo
omu ye obi be hwem nti me ne wo mu ayenim
nti bon mon kenkan
konfo a MPP awe aka aso se sa konfo ne nja no obi akọwie ska na police kwate no a o si ye nya nipa no obi kọwie abanta MPP for a demonstration
yes enti ga we kan kire Ghana fo nyina se enya de bia petition na ye de akono omo be kan enu nti enam so a ye maame we nkwa ne bra eba beji petition free MPP for ene Ghana for nsem enti sa Afenyo-Markin edi kan hu with the foresight no hu said that be the nkrofo we the omu ye a lack of respect na ochirechire mu a you will get some nkrofo bi omo so omu ye NDC for to go out there and insult Afenyo-Markins. Utumi na na Jantuah na no di na nado danko akufuado atem. Utumi nya maame we na wabetra TV so na osu. Na osu. Na osu. So be a disrespect no. Unya nkwasiafo NDC fo bi no se na adenti amoye demonstration. The demonstration it has a lot of reasons. It makes a lot of sense. Ghana minor babaye India mean Gambian government since when India mean was in power. And no being kasa and no selective justice in ekoso and the wiasimwa yeden amamfo nya adwuma but ye wo sika ye de kwachichi amamfo. So the people are crying. NDC in opposition were making even demonstrations in Yansanim. Now look at this demonstration here.
Led by our national church.
Let me tell you why these fools were demonstrating. Who did they tell no demonstration? NDC in opposition organized a demonstration against Bank of Ghana. Omuye demonstration the tia Bank of Ghana. Bisa me se DNT na menchiro mo DNT omuye demonstration. And this demonstration omuye ne say Bank of Ghana AC Central Bank of Ghana ewa Accra. Building na yesi say to 16 or 15 or I don't remember. The useless NDC in opposition was able to omunya animu say the organizing Crofoma the Omukonanti streets of Accra. Eco Bank of Ghana building name say they are coming to give petition say Ghana phobinum come the one. A common the one. I didn't a Bank of Ghana and Chiche says Sikaraman Crofoni now the Kusi Central Bank of Ghana. I one of the most beautiful buildings in the whole of Accra. And now I say one of the most beautiful buildings. But Nkrofo way to me daji eboabo Nkrofo an spendi sika enanti kromu ye de say Bank of Ghana is building a central bank. I even anti-sisma just say earthquake ba asase woso ba sadan no ehwe nka no temiye pa sa Bank of Ghana na esi ho enne no the Central Bank of Ghana enne no kwanya ye fa so si ye no se asase woso esi wo man no mu a sa building no enka no because ye the new technology etimi resist on asase woso na asi and this year ne omote Bank of Ghana ho a omo aboka $1.7 billion no omutimi organize demonstration in Accra say yenko kuntia Addison any Bank of Ghana adentia omo spend 200 million omo DC new center of Bank of Ghana eye ensisanye kese a eba e manum imponsa area ho no ene uturu ho a nefe and this is for who could pictures the two face the two social media and this is for to me nante ko ho e could picture e de yeden e de tije omani e wo social media so omo ye Ghana for and so no sa kuo no the useless kuo no omutimi bo modern organize demonstration ma jimifo bi ndi omo achi bacho temi pa yetimi bo modern esesa nkrofo di omo achi ekogina Bank of Ghana nanim ekoye dede se adenti ankrofo ma bi komode won adenti anipa bi no munya sika nto aduane ni na Bank of Ghana decide they say oh develop ono ankasa ni infrastructure abusia resa picture way enti picture way enye ofe picture way yes way this is the view of Bank of Ghana na ye kan ho asem no sa building na wo wani mu ho no that is the Bank of Ghana the new Bank of Ghana MPP abreso yetimi bob modern edit 200 million a year Mubatina konjami na no mo sika 1.7 billion na ayeden na share and no be any demonstration against you but nkrofo wetimi bo modern a demonstration say ye see Central Bank of Ghana nti omonte ase adenti oman no sebio ye den e konanim edruba bia na ya reho se edruba bia ya na ya reho se ubenya a youth meka a youth otigana maimu a youth otigana maimu a enkoso bi sei koso na yetu yetu futuro gu na ni somane gi asem bi di ya na enye nokure na no betena se ayeden a defend NDC nkwasiafo wo betena do di omo koton de ye na ye bo wo nja omo ankoton adenti a omo se omo parent omo pese omo ntom NDC fo na omo ankasansan han e wo in the name of Bank of Ghana enkrofo we stage a big demonstration in Accra against the building of Bank of Ghana Central. Jantuah, ye didi na nado atem. Ebinum ka de omo pe de kire na nado. Demonstration asie ni hwe.
Honorable Johnson Asiedu Nkitia. Today we embarked on a demonstration dubbed Occupy Bank of Ghana. But before we tell you why we are here and present our petition to you and make our demands, we also like to know you so that we know those we are speaking to, because we don't know you. We're expecting to see Mr. Dr. Ernest Addison. Unfortunately, we can't see him here, so we would like to know those of you who are here. We get your name and position again.
Wing Commander Kwame Asarabwati, retired Director Security, Bank of. I'm retired, sir, and also a council like you, please. So,
Minority Leader will respond. Okay.
So first, let me say that I feel very disrespected as the leader of the opposition in Parliament, for a simple reason that we demanded to present a petition to the Governor of the Central Bank of the Republic of Ghana, otherwise known as the Bank of Ghana.
We are talking about Central Bank of Ghana. And I'm here on a demonstration. Say Montiasi the entire YC new building. And I'm up. Muye Dombebre. Yeka Central Bank of Ghana, a very sensitive, a very dangerous place in this name of the state affairs. So a normal say a security personnel onye watchman you. I'm talking about the coordinator of health of security at the Bank of Ghana operations. And a barbeju petitioner. How tight the accessibility to the Bank of Ghana Central no etie. Metenkrofo etuminya kwanya daje. Efa microphone kujina wo ho e can say they feel disrespected because the security personnel no enye sufficient enough. They needed the director of Bank of Ghana. So for that reason, they are no more going to give the petition to the Bank of Ghana governor. Asem we see 2023 just about two years ago and asem we see. But then the same people and no more power. Yeah, the Assemble Comma president, Jubilee House, was so much chief of staff or ye bootlicker on Terriase. When you now so on Terriase, a troning contompona odimudi and odi diso. And Crofu so Montiase. Bisa say, Dinti and Crofu we say, among ye demonstration, a occupied Bank of Ghana. Adentia. Bank of Ghana is developing. Omontiase because a binum se common de wo. And the mubedi akonya mi bisa se e common na e din krofo ntia na montiase no e kosi sen. Kom no da so din krofo na momenti nkwase asem omo kan.
The governor has two deputies, namely Deputy 1 and Deputy 2. Unfortunately, he has decided to disrespect us, and his two deputies has also decided to disrespect us by not being here and to receive our petition. We never said we are going to present our petition to the head of security or someone responsible for security, with all due respect. You are not the one responsible, and we will not give you our petition. Let me also say that, in summary, we will hold you accountable, particularly the governor. We are demanding his exit. And now that he has decided to disrespect us, we will not present our petition. We will go and come back again. We will come back here again. And we will come back and demand to see him in person. The crowd you've seen is just the beginning. We will come back again. And I assure you, trust me, we will come back again. He should better come in here. If he thinks that the IMF is more important than the Parliament of Ghana, if he thinks that the IMF is more important than the people of Ghana, he's here because of the people of Ghana and not IMF. So let him deal with IMF, but we'll come after him. We will come after him. Until we see him, we are not stopping. This is just the beginning. A lot more.
So, on that note, we mean no disrespect, but we thank you very much. But we'll be protesting again, and we hope that we will be meeting him. Until we see him, we will not stop occupying the Bank of Ghana.
Enti sabre we muna enkrofo we say Bank of Ghana governor oni IMF kura no na edi nkomo sa dadua na wo se onya IMF fo no omeji NDC opposition fo amolete adentia Bank of Ghana AC new building. Now, when I see people talking about the demonstration of yesterday, say it was unnecessary. Why didn't you have demonstrations? Now, and this is for Munyan here. A ban with your artisanal. Where you chaha. Say, a ban with no artisanal. O young here be. Say, MPP for power organization, we want to do what you did to the MPP in power. Missing can conform be Ghanaian free clothing. Mokai demonstration NDC activist. It will be an anoka Ghana for say Ghana 4 year more enti so muwa boni nimno. Tie video we.
This 37 streets.
So my brothers and sisters, this is what actually happened in the streets of 37 around the 37 military hospital. The demonstrators illegally blocked the road, which is the only access to the hospital, which denied many people from seeking medical attention at the hospital. They actually stopped people from accessing the only road to the hospital, and they denied people from going to seek their medical attention. When they were asked, they said those people were animals, they should leave them to die. Why? Because they didn't join them to do the demonstration. Is that how we do demonstrations in this country? We have seen numerous of demonstrations in this country. Is that how they go about it?
We are also going to create a comfortable stance for you guys. Like I say, everybody must suffer. If you don't want to join us to protest against Galamsey,
there are rules and regulations in this country. We don't use crime to stop crime. How can you block the road, which is the only access to the military hospital? How can you deny people's access to medical attention?
Next time, you join them.
Somebody is sick. The person is going to seek for medical attention. He said you will not allow the person to go and access the hospital, so he should die. Is that how we do demonstrations in this country? You can't infringe on somebody's rights just because you are demonstrating.
Yeah, and some way in a town, ever mind no more. Some way in a town or man way more in very silent way. God, I'm saying, Tiana demonstration where you almost God, I'm saying, Kosu or Minum. That is the reason why they were demonstrating. To the point to say, Yakosi say, in Niane Aboba Begu Ka Kwemu say, Ye man crofom faso, Ka Kwaya ne dia man for ko ayare sabia. Ya brokono. I didn't hear say God, I'm saying Kosu. Enti ni kwanse Ghana ni batna fia bro mo no mo ye demonstration. Enkrofo we ye demonstrations kura na nyansa bi ni akire. There were no senses about that. Who ye galamsey demonstration akra na nkoye no. O se unko Western region, Central, and Asante region. Ehona was unko demonstration. Ehona galamsey yes no what the campaigns of galamsey. NDC 1.4 ehona omotie ehona omutu omu galamsey. But nkrofo we eko hijack akra. Nkrofo we eko hijack kwanya amanfo faso de kwa yaresabia ekoji wona yaresa. And we sat in this country and we look at them as everything was normal. We sat here, we looked at them as everything was normal. But then, the echoes were my no. Any demonstration na ye koye nenrano. There was no need to force anybody to take part. There was no need to say Obekantro be said Bramema Osika at all cost. Anyone Obi Bianra no demonstration as was there because of a reason. Obi no demonstration as Ayobia Sabio Yedin Adrina Diakro. Ya promising a Bibia and Saka because when you promise somebody, you create an expectation from the person. So promise me, say ba na DVR ho. Any pomu ye juma or hono, or be sa hodo me and sa. Me, I'm thinking say you are coming so that I can go to the DVR to work. It is Obana when yes, I dear no, Nasabio, Achichi na Wuchi a manfo to a Mungu Krum so mu ye did that. I will join. Because what disappointment? Because what breaking my expectation towards you. Anesi for ni binom ekoto abama mahama because of see automatic posting. Oba ye no what be yi nkrofo adi a no mo ye nurse for ani afọ mo adwuma mu ya ye clearance nyina wie utimi kata wani yi wonadi enti sa nkrofo na nurse o mo ti say ye de that they will come and join and make noise. A teacher for many people are ready to come out and make the day because of the expectation that you gave them. No, it is something that you cannot satisfy them, and that is the problem that NDC is facing today. Because out your position now ma yen kan saying sloganiere eye wo de now ki kan kwa asem promise left, right, center, back, front, backwards. Na ema amamfo no koto abane de mawa. Obviously, people will vote for you based on what you are saying, and when you get the power, then they will demand accountability on what you are able to achieve for them. So there is no need to pay anybody to come and demonstrate.
MPPSM. Ghana for they feel very agitated and aggrieved by how our democracy is being destroyed. And then Dromupie Ebeye or Yetre Emma President Mahama Nina Abai who say enough is enough. Yabre Abai Baye TikTok for year chiomo. Say Abai Yati Abai Abai Timi who so adena okra o kaseti aban ni ababecho intino a monthful and drawing pay by over 30,000 to 40,000 people. Massive demonstration, unprecedented. And you do Jubilee House for a year. You what and Pumamuno Sentina Bema be intimate Piabo more baba. And what Tomoso Jubilee House in Bema Wohuni and what Tomoso Mr. Fabande Muni and what Tomoso. Tina radio so no mutibi o mano papa na ndo no mpia meji petition so ye bema or so ye bema de na we mpia meji petition Inti me sure say bedro, but asedan ye dema your party for nititu ni the organizational committee of our party.
Yes, and the course no. And the eba course from today going no. A man funny already motivated though, due to disappointment. Due to disappointment. A man funny you ready to demonstrate day in, day out. In himself, Papa Mahama so you drum funo. And to a demonstration couldn't find home. But so say a demonstration and foul one. We will make you feel the heat. Where and number for no more that demonstration no more. Number four. Baby, wouldn't be intia. Some of them, it is 15 months today, and I entry or mocha one Saturday. Udeti. Me are na me ba ma me Jantuah no. I'll got na asempa Afenyo-Markin say I know soon. And that demonstration and Crofona no mudim no. Some of them were not MDC MPP issues. So many of them were about the state of the country's affairs today. Tiasama bo weyeka.
And it's about 15 months. 15 months. See the piansama esi wonadmono anoding because bema beko juma banonti mi chop money anoding. Ama ebimu yari ebimu afamu ewu ni ade nyina enti aye no kre ama finance minister kra bekasa wo ho emse samunya sa tip ni bia enti mubedo musuko no mo ade kra etimi basa na de ya te kra ne so mo say after all the 15 months no kra so metu ya 3 months so de nipa ye adwuma na se se bia we se mo nadmo won se fraud buy no mo tun sana nadmo fo nadmo at the same time car some cry ye ni bi moto ye ni bi bibi kakra de be TNT kura no ti se bia no de ye ya ekotopu this is for me so yan so mo so yan se Sebia asemes oh yem for can ko krowe so ni enko ye for report ma e just a word director no akopesika atofuwa aha moto enti no ma ko nad mo de no kre bibi me de atudwa e sanity why no bibi o to 15 months ni munya aka me ba cho me ngi bo ansi di kura 15 months na me ti we me ngi once e sanity across board the whole Ghana.
What would you answer? 3 months.
Sani ati no ba timi nyi ni se be no kure.
Na no program bo so mai. 3 months.
No so bo mai. No so
Bajo watini ye pa. Papa we da bi oba no de sa a teacher for 2012 2016. Ebinum ye adwuma 3 years ma etua wonka 3 months. And then so na bofo ye ntua wonka o 50 months ni. You see a buy betua wonka only 3 months out of 15. And so why you juma 15 good months. Now Mahama the first, you tua 3 months out of 3 years. Mahama the second, you tua 3 months out of 15 months. Abra, where are we going to? And ye demonstration be at say ya. Any pa wait to fear or befanata the ashaba be join the crew. Aya jumano because he feel betrayed. Sankrofo we num na ka omo asem aye party o enye kohwini maame we ya wakwa akotena ba bi so say ye disrespect no what to me abo kashire abo duku akotena studios aye nkwase campaign adidi nanado danko akufuado as them akeka de ope e de ache nanado danko akufuado obi anka hwe ankyerɛ wo ene kakra bi so wani so awusu ene enkrofoma ye adwuma embosome edunum ye ntua wonka omo apsore kwa abonten se omo kote ntesukoko e de akyerɛ aban a wahura ba begira ni mu se o baji omo petition da akwa akohye no maame woji se omo de bechew odwene se omo de bechew concomitant o se disrespect na meba maame we mi san bisa ne biemo entibra na all ka asem we e de kyerɛ na nando danko akufuado no na odwene se na nado ye obi asabio ono no oyedua anase oyenipa.
Complete error and a mistake.
You cannot say that.
I can say that bestowed on this country.
Posterity will judge.
The day that we voted for him, that is the day we destroyed our nation. Roland, I am telling you. Even the last thing that he has done without remorse, awarding himself as the best president. When I say that Nanado has the tendencies of Nebuchadnezzar, people think that I am joking. He awarded himself as the best president. Yes, what is the meaning of that? He is an error, he is a mistake, something that we have bestowed on us. He has brought darkness to this nation. And I am serious, please. The state of the nation is my pocket, your pocket, everybody's pocket. That this Christmas we could not even buy chicken. That is the state of the nation. And I do not even know why he's being given this.
You cannot say you. Are you saying ordinary Ghanaians averagely?
I'm also an ordinary Ghanaian. Am I not an ordinary Ghanaian? Am I any different from anybody else on the street? I am not. You see that they are saying that it is statutory.
President say or your mistake or your error. The very first day that Ghanaians voted for Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo is the day that we destroy our country. Who to me can say the sitting president, and that one is okay. But Afenyo can't say we are
Respected. The chief of staff or the deputy or a very senior member of government, under the circumstance, should have been part of this discourse and to lead it. We feel that, with great respect to you and without prejudice to your presence, to nominate only you to come amount to disrespecting us as a political party. I'm the leader of the party in parliament. You have the general secretary of the party here. You have the chief of staff of the flag bearer. We have the chairman of the Constitutional Affairs Committee of the party. Members of parliament and the leadership of parliament are all here. But to disrespect our democracy by only nominating you to come, like I said, with great deference to you, it doesn't match it. So it means that the government does not even take serious the grave issues before us.
Afenyo-Markins, where is the disrespect? So disrespect now. And I'm so mamu we akwa kwotna or ye kro the join say oh soon na and na be topic instead of us to talk about the reason why this demonstration was held, you know. And at the NDC is changing the narrative, say somebody has disrespected such a bottom liquor political prostitute. But what's our studios?
Okay, Joyce Bauer. Afenyo-Markin with me being and no catch me say me nobody. Obeti me ejina ho akachiro mu nyina. Say oba besia megina wanim. President ye call program no. E no catch chief of staff say. Opeso obi animu odu kakra. Ne kokoje petition. Anya se kakra opeso obi animu odu. Na okokoje petition because onu they definitely out. Chief susu ntimi nko. All the deputies will be away in Nasi. The president said, Nana, I bet me a call.
Our man penny free Jamaica.
Oh, but no, yes. Okay. Bet me a call into Moman and call. Me a cockra, and Marietta say on me be baby, mammy support. I'm see, oh, sister, oh dear. Tanahane, ye dear, obey. Na say, yes, I mean, duty calls. I ask you your duty into a family bag. Minya call no, I'm catching me say, be do her 11. Omu drew ho be 12:30. Me say me office twen an am say na mo kran ka mo maame etna office like a co program ni wie an san ka me ba beto. Obi e ko gina park sui. Besi enne na nkrofo yimpi ho. Ti be one something eni hu so mo ba. Obi me kra me ko no. Na me say oh we dey me ko hia me nua no.
Who is your brother?
Omunyina. Me from afar na ayi. Almost 30 protesters say me de omuntimi ngi petition in free me ho.
Yes,
me
you are right.
Kai omu hu me ana omu yem hyehye wo.
That be they are right.
Inti no.
nipa bone.
Justine from afar. No, Okan wana no say na ya we ne ba beji petition. She obi. Enu nti na obi ho onya position na on person obeye humble no. Obi nti na onya position na on person me position me won me fa position ni manim. Ti for you for Justine. Well aba be kan che me say.
Say o hwe na no na hu so okasa.
What me hu so oka. Say na me ben ho. All the reactions, I saw it. Me for the first, everybody thought I should react. But a police phone to for bias madam and then they wire there. I didn't open my mouth because me jinaho in the stead of the president of the Republic of Ghana. If you want no more call more congress, no could decide. A binum so mom pre papa be so a chairman no said then you almost any dimbi. For 10 times so on GP, I make a chair was a one G. I said me free her. But then I told to myself, I said, I am standing here at the highest office of the land. Yes. I am standing here in the stead of the president. It means me enye bibia contrary to what is in my mind. So me jina ho din hwe wo. Nebe hwe omo pray. Me de asem de bia da na me de beka. Papa penyimu so am MP, former MP. This one me. He came to greet me. Cabo me no sre na na bi crampo omo nyina they went back. Then they went into a conclave and they came back. A honored Afenyo-Markin so no na akwaje contract. Afenyo-Markin who Afenyo-Markin and your classmate in me. Yes, of course. Menyi cha Afenyo-Markin metimi a won Afenyo-Markin what this saying? What this saying? On kan ye ejima minti. Me mates omo ye wie form 5 omo wo ye woni mo my age. Obi me hu na efe o. Nti Afenyo-Markin say menyi cha Afenyo-Markin 2 years mpo. He hasn't got the right. It is a president no did na temu because
enti ene de enti mami woni akufo do mo ye pa na. Abusia ma be phone last na to so to me frɛ na wa kyerɛ wadwen on what this woman is saying. Me mami da na pɛ mo akwa ba ye pa ma me ho te say. Muntie video no na me di kan bo kyerɛ no ya asema maame we kan de kyerɛ na nando dan kwakufu ado berebi enne maame we say on te asema se momentie video ne wi a obi atumi frɛ
president ne yi me se me ma be petition emre bia ye call Bank of Ghana enye security man e be petition obi mpacho mensre ene obi aseme nka ncho se jasere ye ne hwe asem no be pese mi hu se enye security man and I called a petition no. And I am yes, and you will not feel some pine no movie never. Then can you bet I am moha? I'm telling you, Obi and one is saying I'm many. Yet she is sending to me. Say Afenyo-Markin betting me a shame men. Send me nobody. Obi see ye political office way free ho. Me, my Bob Brow.
Yeah.
Mr. C. Jumo GIPC. Me asantini bao ma yire me ho akọ school me free fie o be me person me ba be dwa manu me papa ye lawyer ni o me papa ye Oxford trained lawyer. I am the daughter of a lawyer, a pharmacist and a minister. Me free fie te me ofie ya nteto me wakwan ho na me ton yogurt. Afenyo-Markin time I me mo GIPC no wen. What right has he got? Say President Abobi so my magic petition you saw the person. MPP wants respect, but they do not know how to give respect, especially to women. Justine Kodia, time I was so quan, no one and I'm from wash a drosso. Yeah, and then I'm so quan, yeah, no. You out. No, Pacho.
So we deal out of his
sweetheart, please don't start. Please don't start.
Oh, because that's the point.
Please, I beg you, sweetheart, I like you. Over penty, me person me myself. Because if nobody told at that point. Said what Afenyo was saying is not right. Then nobody has a right to come and tell me, said me Busa Obi, I am very decorous with that.
No, but two wrongs too don't make
because the point is that Obi.
The way she eventually said Omode petition him out eventually.
Now one farmer me found Obi, I want to petition crowd the man me post ya sign signature near here. Baba me, I didn't want to.
But why not they share with him?
Almost because they say me nobody in almost your deputy, your friend is a women's organizer.
Oh,
yes. Afenyo catch me say because they say me nobody in Tino. That they don't expect me. See, I'm chief of staff, I'm deputy chief of staff, I'm me nobody, me a senior government official. Afenyo-Markin. How I mean, a dear in Denesi. Just in quote your time, I won't call me a general secretary, me, I'm a general secretary. Uber told me why pack. Now, frame is senior. I never answer, sir. Afenyo-Markin, we are majority leader, one for our party and co-opposition. You should pretend that over 137 seats. Well, you should pretend over 88. How dare you stand in front? And how can someone chairman cry off a Ukraine Kenya? Media full go look at everywhere. What is he talking about? Me, I'm going to petition the speaker that if Afenyo-Markin does not withdraw, I mean, what is it? How can you tell me in front of everybody? Say me you're nobody. You don't even know me.
Sami dem filimoso. Na ansana me ko sami dem filimoso no. Mami nko na ye Jantuah so ansa. Ma me na ye Jantuah. Me chia o. E wo baabi a wo wa na du bia me ma good morning, good afternoon. Se Ghana de mu use one live ba ko pe weather ba ko pe. Ba manane for de baabi wo ha ba na ade baby so wa ade sa ye can't say nti ani nyina greetings ni nyina me de ma na ena nwumre mi pese mi pusa ma me ya Jantuah say o free say onu nko na ye nipa na ana say o free say the president na otisu sesian onu nko na mo jagina ni ana say o free say NDC for nkoa eni mo jagina wo mu hwe dia no kura da no misamafo ta wa fa no kura na to a eye den e free to ma me ya Jantuah my yo sisi a wo say wo ye asantini pa na wo papa eye lawyer ma me ya Jantuah wo ye sure so wo papa wo na wo so ye lawyer. He studied the law very well. And as you see, and what can what so can he so rest in peace. Did he raise you to become a liar? And as you say, but in Soto another leader, a Pinefakoji post. Mami ya Jantuah, and some now who can you? Can ye mame na wo ye panyini na ye papa Afenyo-Markin wan fa buanya den ama mame ye Jantuah me sabusa wo asante kasam se mame ye susumia ma adwene wakoda sumia so masumia ma wadwena na e na odibe gina ho be kan asase mu have you forgotten so soon say na president bit so anana president bit so Emma offering so Emma Nana do take position as that president no walk on. O dress simply so catch the Ghana man in as ya read na mana day. Aka do pay. Mami ya Jantuah. What sense so busa wo say? That president no catch the president no be take over from the side. Wa read na mana ka do pay. What na Ghana busa wo say? O ye dem o tumi hye wo man no. Mami ya Jantuah because mimi no mi enu a ye gina ha ye kase ye nka no kore ye ne no kora ye den abonsan munyi Barnabas maye yo munyi Barnabas maye na munkum Yesu ba na Yesu no wonye hwe Mami ya Jantuah mami sambu sa say na do tiso no na do no ni yire na yire ye friend of first lady Rebecca Kufuado Ibusa Mami ya Jantuah, but you stood on your console or the TV no ekuro bia ekuro benyini a enyini wo education mu ene sɛ ye chichiri kuro no sɛ ya mo fa plane a hu no ma ba abrochire mo abedi bia 2 weeks 3 weeks na mo fo emuwe ye bisa mo sɛ mo bisa mo so sɛ how did they do to make their country better adentina mo de mo ntumi anya Ghana ye mo bi free ha ema o ma edi holiday ye bisa mo na do teso no some who said you're not Africella, me a Miss Mamu for, or Mukai, a ye car, or Muba, or Mukai car, or mountains, or Mukatame. Say your group I for Ghana. They love it. It is a kind of what the pounds on the bar on a name. Mammy, I Jantuah, ye besouth. What pay you buy and nipper Johnny? Nipper, Johnny. Because Sikano, I say, Obia no person of Ghana. Africella, Mia Menam for Moba Africella, just for Moba to money or Ghana, just for few weeks, no Masayaba. Mammy, I Jantuah, what pen you buy ye? What pine? A year will see a friend, the Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Come out and take point at dear, why Yama. Foreign people are not excitement to be able to mama got one more diaspora ever. Because who ban here their talk I used to say who call Ghana who see it. Because why is dangerous. It's what to move one no excellent TV station. The Dr. Mahmoud Bawumiatam, the Nanad Watam, who can some food for MPP. So if Afenyo-Markin, Catcher will say, and you walk any person with petition will be so or Babasian so in general Samawa. Mistake Ben or ye. Yes, say there will come some phone and some phones so ya day and Panoquano that. And then the perform and the cancer phone. Have you forgotten to say? Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia, no owo bad energy. Na ado down kwa ekufu ado. Na owo bad energy. First lady, second lady. But what did you do? What not TV station who was so lambaseno? What dinner time? What car for train? Now who and ne? What better now? Who be pardon? There's a ube me when you said Docono, Mammy Docono. Mammy Docona, who did Docono, I did power the Mama Hammer. Move or beat him at Tomana Yamoya. I tell me a better Mundi MP before. Ye Busamo, Mr. Wa, but not Ghana. No one can say, NDC a better son, MPP, Mr. Osura Grada, and Chichamu, Osura Grada, and Chiamoka. Yes. The new castle we in Yachusa. Mr. Mafu, me bolo will show you so no matter castle. And then me word me would tell me pa because let me see for the sapia. Okay. And I'm Bluetooth to Ira, and I meant to me Musa mean can cassa on the show this time. But Phyllis Sapia. Assembly at the buy, me person Mr. Mafu, Mamma Kwana, me Kakakra, I will show you. Because we won't raise this asset, so be mammy choir. When you want my in a cabana sante. Yeah. Aquana, why you to choose Tesla, Yapetan. Aquana, why you say so close, you are 1 million, not just to say. Aquana, why you say pan, both rota, what was you on earth? Was it near Mukoyen any day, and yet necessary. Pabrana Sante, so my Sante. Why you to see and share your dear Babono? Okay, no problem. We are full. As some now got to see your honor will carry. The person will say, so we pay masters, we lick bookers now, who some woman. Come on, I'm a hammer, nearly Ibrahim Mama, Ghana for. And now come now, me and Gina Nadwatam, or my head of Cabrasa, now we are poor pea, what? Ghana Sikamamo, but Nanadu was looking, no shit, what he knew were people. Nanadu, no shit, Tankabiba. And then Pupatina would do a mobile power. No, so Kobolosika, and the free education. And I'm a Sama for Saukai. Quabra, you know, some country Cassandra, or mine in Quabra Sante. Nanadu, so on the, you can't say. Ghana for a Jumaya for Kada. Or Tina 8 years, who so for Bob Bussian with Jobika. Quabrahan or mine in a quabrasa, so we are not. We are not chuming a good pombe chiauka. The truth is there, but you are covering the truth. The two parts of Mahama or Yadi because what it is a camam. Now, more mood this canning and Mr. Muba Fidia, but move for some way at the na dear crowd, what I'm in a cassia way in a diabetes near Yina. Biwum of full bit so moon and she. Near about Sammy and fear some of coffee for my. Now, Sammy and fit now, what did an ad what them. Sammy and your cafe, Kumnanadu my and Okuda Tabroqua, a year back on the side of Kukurupino, some George. Some not teacher. Where were you? One was up, and now we'll start to show. One was say, or more appointed punch. I don't call Mona Capital. He won't do it. Mr. Mafu. Yeah. Appointee for up to me, his uncle for because of the didn't power. Atamunia. Ye did an adone, a santain of your friends, Atamunia for the penny in Munina. Anyway, moi. Yeah. Who expect so new Medina, Nessa, you know better or when you nipper the number. I'll be the atom. He would do it. So what I say, Mongo forward, on your muddy. The baby will sharp teeth. On your muddy. It's Mr. Mafu, and with your old car, yeah, know where you are, Master Mafu. Now, who are Baba Cotna TV station say, a year or a necessary say. Charles Richum, what a of full bit so. Now, Mr. Mafu, yeah, ba. Yeah, ba, a year can say. That demonstration now, or Muya Yana, or Moka Wasam. A dear MPP are called wrong to move us on by your demonstration. Mr. Mommy. What can I say? Omokoye demonstration be a friend Julobino. Yeah. Akwaya Okotu police for car key. So a lawyer. A lawyer in Park, also a lawyer. Or your lawyer. Be say a dear MPP for the year. See, I know of Fan Hoodie. It is a sea and Yapasi a busa say. Omoya demonstration run can people to police for car key beer. Government said they're not to be seen. I'm people find every point of police in Yankasa, so he's going to deal with them. Now, also, what would they have as a police? Now, we mark politicians control. We are police. I was so both citizens. No, a ban. What the politics are demon and the year control must say remote control. Ya mumra approach na mumre. Ubejina wanim. Catch yourself. Fuck off. Who do you think you are? Ompne kra. Na mudie. Say obinim. Ya obi samafu. Ya. Se Ghana pa to for say. No be a boni yemubi. By a Cassia Catam say, Mabanaba, the Muya police for pa, Bubaya Mojuma as the police. The Samuya truck pushers been the police in Tadia Samodea. A time will come. Be Satan, Yaba refuse. Men know what dreams to say, NPP, or Mute position, or Muni intelligence will move or move. Security, a bill of papa. Timonia Moho. Namun did some fool manimu. Bawumia or buy no police council. Oh, no, will be. And I'll catch a police in the so nko ya de obi mpe ye busamo because na ni ebie onya sada na no aye di nkomo man kan kire wo say eka wo ho eba ukai nya na beto hoy IMF di aba abontine say gold nya na abai muti ho ena mahama ebru kaguo according to eka mahama abono ese na na do otuma so 8 years Mr. Mafo
your home picture kra o me
yo eka mahama abono for 18 months our buy you say no ese na na do otuma so 8 years
$1.9 billion, which is 22 billion Ghana cedis. Where a good purchase of
Mr. Mafu, Sikana Ekwa Butum. Yes. Yemfa enon to ho. Ni yembra. Womo musti TV so mo ka say. Ye koye obi a wo 1 year anniversary. Musti demonstration you can say paper was there. Yeah, papa on mani boama. Well, you're one of the person I'm a penasem because nana dream ye day. Nedo. It's wuno woo, you know. Me meant na kasa a yemete. But me question me person me pusa. Journalists phoning you na omuka asam the same. Yente Ghana na nkura na anu yo 16 omukoko wuye.
Yeah.
Mumone wo mu.
David.
Nanu ya yente Ghana ena nipa 30 something nsuo di omukoye.
Yes.
Enya ade tia na mahama ko say white. Mumone wo mu.
David.
Eni bed 1 week ena kumase kwaso yesi nipa bed de 20 something akonya accident. Ma money wo media for nyame ntwa muka munni no mo wo mo posome nkro mo fo mo twam no mo chance.
Amen.
Because Mr. Mafu busam sadenti. Because they are not a public figure. They are not a presidential figure. It will do munye ni pa on. Mi busamo media for San Crawford no omunye nipa. Me pe omu hia ma o ma no because wo yo hia ni wa but me person me put to say ye ni hu de e go so heaven any judgment there metumi aka chem say sa am leaders na mo money wo mu nyina e fa wa bunsam jam
yes sure
ena Ghana hia fo no omo nyame abie gate am omo ko because mo anhwe wo mu so ye mo andi no kura nkyere wo mo man ka no kura nkyere wo so what you say man dinu kura nkyere wo say omo du mo kokromoti koto aba ma wo mo ama mo bosome du mo twini ye pese ye busam say me ka say wo mo a wo ntwi o mo kan ne bitika ni mo wo mo a ma mislead wo mo no mo ye adwuma for 18 months mo ntwi a wo mo kan me ka say bitika ni mo no okopa ade bia ye a be ma na no aduane emmo no mo bu no ma money wo mo because o mo nye public figure no mo nye ayi politicians you know ma money o mo no abeta national television so say yeah anniversary o see emergency petition how dare you huh how dare you who do you think you are ye busamo mo free some kwa ne mo jagina mo ho God is watching everything. Onyankopon hwe bibia. Ufisa munkwane mojo. And now what is special about you than the citizen who put you there? Yebusamo. Muti convoy za kakaka mununti na moye special na. Yebusamo. Muti convoy 30 ni 40 mu amode kwa no. Eno na chesa moye special na. Abrochire ha yɛ ti obi anyo obi a o. Wo panya sika daima. Wobɛkɔ yi na ayi Prime Minister ejina waitress no ɔyɛ shopping no wasan ho na akɔ. Bodyguard bi andi na chi o. Bodyguard ebi andi na chi. So munim nyansa, man panifo munim nyansa. Na yɛse Ghana wɔ resources wɔ bibia na mutumi de siesie Ghana ka Ghana nkɛse Dubai. Nkɛse Dubai. Mo hu obi a waton agudie na mesamafo abɔkada.
Na wo yi business na yɛ. Business
na yɛ fo nkoa. NDC fo nkoa because mo nka no korɛ. Me si nyame obɛhyema sisa je tsunami efe nipa de nako. You just wait and see. I am not a judge of Christ, but the judgment will fall upon you. Muye mua ena mukuho. Na na ya Jantuah way ena wosen ka woka. Way ena wosen ka woka che wo leaders no. So what ya say? Na mo tena ho na mo speak venom. Muye venom. The most venom human being in the planet. Aye NDC. They bisamo. Yes, I catch them. Muye poisonous thing bibia wo biase. Toxic. Ena muye. Na sigie kasa kire Ghana fo no. Ene ye maame ne ye papa mo no. Ekomu tie ya, nka wanyina ka ema. Yen sanjira ho kan kyem se MPP no mu ye kunkono. Yen kan kyerem. Arrogance bi be se MPP fo mu. Nanado point the wrong people and he didn't do reshuffle. And the man not buy no a falling flat. Now call you good leader. I bet you know about why you were come was a yard for. Nana ya Jantuah. Or Pepe, Maya Hunyone. Now me back was champagne no so your friend Jantuah last week 1 million castles and then 1 million castles. Say Jantuah was so no why they were co school that why dear bed. Jantuah. That was the other now to 1 hour to come. Now one don't go school that a beggar like you who sold his own country to beg. What go school next to me? School now want to me apply knowledge and come on. School next to what to say. Want to me dear Mahama any air go wrong. Yes, who bet to me account, but to me criticize the MPP. But now we criticize, you are criticizing in the wrong way because the truth is that who to me can. Galamse no was some nana wokano. MPP kona galamse net to say. Jantuah cano correct net to say because we you put liquors, we you ass liquors, and the muko man. What you say? MPP at this canam among you. It's the mobile be among ye. Na me dear yemi yan some more Ghana for na masam yemia. Me quite sa masam yemia because we could see some was their full bit Captain Smart and you are one or second channel a fearful Yabesia. A one or kitchen basement no see a friend can be together. Who could see you when we are not want to know ye? Hey, ya munko to me na munko tio. Munko na munko tie. Na munya mo we ya munko tie tie wo mo. Omo nka no kwankyere mo. Omo da payroll, omo ni asofo ni nyinara. Wo mo ni asofo ni nyina. Na ko obi a wo so wo pe kwan e di wo ko heaven. Etumi koda board so. No won ka no kwankyere ni leader na. Sa nipa no betumi do akọ heaven. Mr. Mafu. Sa nipa no betumi do akọ heaven. Ghana for mom waste mu time kran ko na mo we na ase because omo need to me bia wo mo. Omo ye ass lickers, put lickers. With that brain because omo tom to say nkoko infie na bia ma politician. Enti no mo ye sa no. Sama mamani ana ho a that thing also gate no nya dia mo beduru ho bi because mo betie sa nkwasiafo we ama mo mada achen na do be wo se ahiafo esikafo ma mo nyina mo nkotena da baafo president no to ho but greediness greedy for na bit say Jantuah na ya Jantuah ni Jantuah mo mu ye greedy bastards o ma hiri kwa brasa antia ye na fum se to gbe o mu nyina greedy eto mo antumi anya dai an kama sama amamo emabunu ti ya mamu fa mo TV ne mo ayi a mo ye no mamu kwan konkotie wo mo ye mo a o buga na ni mo Samafo ami fonsi amedaso mo nyina amuka
amen. Ya maame Esther K. Barima, the firebrand, and a yetening. Come on, maybe I'm coming to Aquaba Yepa. Abusian for way a latest updates. Aye, latest updates. Bisam said, and I'm in control. Ninyan say domestic gold purchases program, no. And this is for Beso Mono in just 2025 alone. Amwa magana mine ahwede sika awkani nyina boma a $2 billion US choppable dollars. We ni adwumafo asamija mfini Bank of Ghana ayede ama Ghana. Ento bibi sase samija mfini so mfa so ede ma Ghana ene de wo hia. Eni kwansem na men kan kire wo. Oso ntimi hwe ni pakoro nim pefe no kan kire se samija mfi. What he has done for Ghana is to let Ghana lose 1.7 million, 1.9 billion US choppable dollars. Abushama be full last natum me hwese obi ebe fro obi amfre de bibia besia but be den check akra e ma me Vivian kuma ma me ya frame poba me ya ba Diana Pia and the firebrand Ame Esther K. Barima. Then we are banana na akria afro so me den check asie ema wela
Mama jo abusia fo nyina ne etiefo nyina ne tia obi a abusia fo ne etiefo nyina so ma wa pa o te say na ho ye pa wa the radiance amen e be na mi ase e be ne zo na me de odi abedri na anyway de aha Jantuah no was saying
o see you disrespected
o do man like me na or no. And come here and come and afford the enca. Ye disika ni bikra na. Obi ka ye and ke ba dwene nchiri aka no ho. Ono wanya nwa wo di to no. Won hwem no antena ho no woni ne ho. Ayi woni ne to. Wanya nkati aka ho wanya kosua de atoso. Ayam sam ye ka se kura to no pe kura ka ho. Na kono. Jantuah mamenka bibi ntiro. O de minumi enu nyina pe. O be fra obi se obi yakwala. En akwala ni wiase o. En akwala ni wiase. Small boy like Afenyo-Markin wo. Aha. Oba no yeti ase. Na so ma mi mpesam ka to se. Atechire so awe nka entumi nchan adeso o. Na ze se ade atechire so abesan adeso a.
Oh yeah.
Asechira ne se Jantuah want me afakota anya nkwan ma me abrewa ete se menam we me yanko abrewa na wa wo hwe nyame anim kansan fo a wo keka kire na na ado ne ba wo mia Jantuah wo rafi ho ho wo si afra yo kokora no na wo yale yetamu sika mu ena ho ahwan wo kwa ye krom na kire waduro Achira wo se kwatete yi fe haban na no a na nom eh wo twatura fe de etu yi konkonsa na wo die ni tura na wo twenti no empoma ni hunti no want me en twaturo no enya empoma fa anto ho ene wo wanya no wanya no kasa don daga mama wanya ba bi di wakwahye na nka mu ye nka CPP ni die nka wonne ayi
NDC ni mo ye den wa
NDC kadewe chaka kana wo mu mienu mu ntam na so ya san say sika no wonya bia di nintino de firi wanu bia no wo kasa say firi sabi firi to na ba ye MBB for enya nipa o se mu ye ya ye de yebu ye ho why Jantuah apapa for anything dey for bu MPP na sa wo na mo no wa mu MPP enya hwe MPP enya for yenya sikafo se de wo kanu se wo fra sikafo fie ya tete o ya de pharmacy na tete wo ya de lawyer na tete wo lawyer for tete pharmacy for tete ya de yenya for so wo to no wo tete a wonya en wonni mu nyansa wonni nyansa kan sama na firi wani mu ba na firi wo to na eba wo kasa ya adwene ho wate Jantuah wo dem no mi no ye nyina ye mrewa ntimi nka so wanyini kyam wo kasa ya adwene ho wa yo duku se tekre ni aya wo kaban saka kraka kwetena wa sadi ye se afanya me pataw no krani nyame anim ni ya nya be twa be hu akokono pa ne modwere ya nya be twa be hu akokono na ma no oto ne pamba se ya afanya me pa wo chawo o me pa wo chawo na what say do mama no kra na wo soma won John Draga mama wo soma won wono kra so ate MPP fo nka wate nka to ahu ye perfume o ye nam a ye ba ne hu tu nka sa apia studio kan ne wante wate NDC fo mo bon ko na do ho akodon o so mo ho bon eya mo ma MPP fo na mu ntie sant na free ye ho ba wo bu mo ba no wante ase o wasemo ya jimifo apia study wasemo ya nkwasiafo NDC fo munni munyansa munni adwena ye dibu man enti amomma ya MPP fo wo munchire munyansa na se mo kai ne de no peso akire mo no na nyasa mo ho bon say perfume gu MPP fo ho na mo kwatie cent no o pa kire mo se mo sie nyansa mfiri wo mu ho munchi adwene firi wo mu adwena edibu wo man no monkwa MPP fo ho na monko sua bi na moya nkwasiafo bo man ya NDC fo Jantuah emra mama wo befa akonya no wo promise sa galamse no satan galamse ba bia na we ho na aduru ye na ati atese wo kra wo na mo ni Jantuah Mr. Spectator will cry, Mamma, my concession, which you never. I didn't say you were a chamam. Ghana assassin, a teacher said the teacher, Palestinian Bushiako, Palestinian assassin, Bushiako. Dana Gamma, what to check Ghana assassin, and this is for when a day, Muntugalam sick. Was a Muntua, a Becafia. No, I had to say, was stop on us, that and no musica. That's why I'm country ni media kwa nyina. Mopa Ghana. Muntua makroni nyina emmo. Na nyame wo ho. Nyame wo ho cha na be cha nka ho. Yeah. Mon tsana so nkosi asebo na ntwie di anka ne to. Enti ne dia na anka ono na ntwie ne to no. That's na nka confront so system. Enda ya he apostle mu be jemu. Eya dey one day mu be jam. Jantuah wo so enti na munya position ya na mo de kire mo ho no. Wo de o na mo position de o de kire ho ame. Ya frempom ma me enya masrede. Enya me nwanwa. Mu position na moton. Mama, wo yo won adwuma wi anu afro be sin kwaye position no. Mama adwuma be sin kwaye no. Fa to ba jogofo na mama ebo matoje no. Ya de enye ye nwanwa ayo du ku se chekre ni abayoa o sori ansam fun bi efriwa no ana wo kan afa na o mepa wo cho ba be pa wo tiri so no apampa so chewo wini no si na afa na wo ba pa mo chewo ada na wa jimi sama me panimu a wa jimi wo kasa wo fanya santon wo de wo jimi kra de chewo bia wo NDC fo na akoto wo jimi no e chewo mu. What the politics I say? What the politics I see? And can somewhere Afenyo kai no kanya wo ya ade wo se afanya yakola na na wanyini politics afanyini ho wona wanyini a tie samedem fia na kwasi asema samedem fo ka kire mpanifo 34 years old boy or 35 years boy tie samo ya na samedem fi efri na no a waka kire nipa esefri ne to na eba eno ne dia na mo dia ye no afutuo be pa na Jantuah wo dia tu wo mu won crofo no baby with shout it for no afutuo se pa na dia tu wo mu ya woni wo fi asa wo be ka obi fi asam whether you like it or not afanya so waka e dia na abaye no wontumi nya ne foko wontumi nya ne hwe e dia na abaye no satem didie be chatem didie bia enka chechedie wona di kan hu obofo kan na so woni 90 no wada hwa ma obofo be fa no no wote ahoma otwa ahoma na ode ebo be de chechera chechedie de ne koye sa wo katem didie dia ka wo master na wudi na chi draga mama no na num wasamte sa fo na ye koyiye draga mama na num wasamte sa fo na ye koyiye wono kra na ni pattern wono kra na ni pattern yanka uko bie wano a wasi wata because wato momane wato to momane dia hye wanu uko bie wanu a wasi wanu mbo no abechew eni ntino wo fe said moye no eye papa munchia sanantu ho esa na mucha no munchia ntu na dachi mo ana mo betomu nyame wo ho dachi mo be musana mucha no mo an kasa na mbeden wo be fa sasa no so so afanya yakola kodia le pisisi mfuturu mu en atem didie ne nya bi no no yese fa ni chasing kwa na atem didie atem bia be fru wanu beba ye te said ye hon wansana po bia bo hon no e ya atem didie atem didie be ncha atem didie o kodia ne pisisi mfuturu mu wo kwa na the draw so na wa na aka yo wo se kodia ye hwan the truth is futuro mu the truth is futuro mu asa na wo ya politics no enso wo nim politics ho nim die wa ya kwala the truth is futuro mu na sisi fam enso no wo wadwene MPP ni a watete apansam kra na tesa mo ya mo se mo ya politics mo furu kwa no kroma pension na mo ya politics mo wo mu nim die MPP ni a watete apansam ya yesu we di ya fa ne nya hwe wo party ni nyasa eso chen wo Jantuah eso chen wo die eso chen wo no draga ma ama ne nyina eso chen ne die mun ni nyasa nka onkrofo ni part 21 na hye nka wo nkotena Jamaica na wo mbantwene a wo baaye aweretichi asem kra no kra wontumi kra fa bi to ho kra ma ayi wo mun chiri ma wo mudi wo mu aja pa kwane for party a eti say NDC for ye ka samoa wo si Jantuah wo be yi wanu na ka wonum nya sakra na wo ka wo samfo agaka cha MPP for nka wo master mama netuma wo no me wura suma we dey so cha mi o enti mestra nka mo bi nko because when me say won qualify ho won sem fata ho sa wo ti ayi office of president wo enti di enti yan so hin opposition no eso cha nyame eso cha yesu die mama nwene me ho menyo so na mama boss wo no hwehwu animu na wudi fi ho no o hwehwu animu na wanya baabi ayi baabi ahwe na wo teta boroboro watade mu na enkrofo so hunu amane aduane kura yenya bi ne ye no wagem poni amudi bu o man na modi asai Ghana na ye pa ye ho a ye hu ye sire mu no mo nsam fon no na ko no same dem fi we ye no an say na amen ya na num wasam e cha wono ankasa epupu akohia na nka epupu ama na nka ama epupu wa ama na nka nso ama wa ba tron ye gold nyina die na Ghana ye de ye nsagu ye tie na Ghana ya ya manfon so na Ghana ya dane se ye te Babylon asu ho na ayi na buka de neza say ye nto ani di anyom Jantuah Israel nyomo wa Babylon no. Ye be da ya to. Awiraho ene ya di amode ya Ghana fo no. Ye be da ya nya nidie. Na 2028 de ye bonya mempaye. E was just around the corner. 2028 nyame ya dum na Kristo ma ya. E go ya nim ha ya. Kokromotina e pam akufu ado no. De mama ba ye na enne Ghana fo ye hu ye chimi ni ye nyansa no. Ta kokromotina aso ye de be pam. Wuntumi nyi obi kokromotin fa mfiri ni nsam. Na Jantuah wo Kumasi no. Wo so shale ya. En sama kase na woka. En na wesitan. En na de aba no enye wasumsam. Jantuah galamse ni se de o ma hu da wuro se de akufu ado. Achem saka wa achem mafia fo no. Enye wo mu na etu ho hu. Munyira nyame betua mo kama akoma. Otua mo kana sesana na mo de akoma dwoma ma fi so ne na ayen kro mo dwuma. Mo na mo da payroll so a wo tua mo ka. Mo ne mo asofo nyina ko hwifuo no a. Ene wo ma manyam so mo nya de no. Ene wo dwalo kra sa wo kwatena sole dem kra na ayam hwehwu because wo kɔ no. Yan kanya sesem bi afa nkyerɛ wa sole dem kɔ. Ade ono asofo na woto no wo tu concession. Osofo na woto no make the fika galamse. No abaya dan ekufu ado az sasika na mama ani o. Wodi ye wo man ni yi. Ena mahumani mugu ase. Na nyame bekoso apam ho ntoma nyame bekoso agumani mu asesa. Ko sista mu bedie mu aposo. Nyame obekoso agumani mu ase. Mo so lansan fu bi afiri anu ana moka. Tete na atete o. Tete na atete. Ene ya yi man yenya bi na modi ahoma pempam. Na modi aye ntade ahye. Na nka mo NDC fuo. Na ma fani MPP fuo. Na ma fani MPP fuo kra. MPP atete apansam no. Kra no. Ene te say NDC amosem asole. Na mo no misamo bu MPP fuo abra wo musu ho. Ah, Ghana fuo. Se de mo atukotie sam yiem. Se de mo ko fa fufu adomra na mo goni hire mo so wadigem because o ma mo ka urade no o ma na ka se crucify him urade ya da se akwata fo wa se yale o ma na sa ka se ye ne de yem mo na se niyem ene ya hu ye nyansa ene Ghana fo ye hu ye nyansa ye ba ko so ayam kwa sa ma don mama man kwasi asem bia pie furo mu anu a on be ka kire NDC furo na enye adwuma Jantuah yadi watam sedi udi yatam no yadi ubi we yo ba ntidi an oba mu anu mu asem nya hwam ma wanu mu asem enye hwam des wanu mu asem anya hwam oba obi ani ho a obebuwo eso ntamadi nka ye bu yesusu yen etina me de masam hwie no ye me de Jantuah ne se wankwa tena se na ye nkyere nyansa ma nkyere ni gimi no won kyere ni yie no won hu kwaya obefa so obeye ne politics na politics emfa nyine ho na sa politics fa nyine ho a enka sie du nkatia no ko mu nyina turu menya hene enya ntaban na me dem fi me kan kwasi asam fan enkyere Ghana fo emetitire yensa emfa ngu yachi no mu mmoro yeyam tamafo me de manu asi obi ni somra
nyame nkan so ho ma me dase bebre ye ma me ya afrim poma na ye te ne nka na obusia phone lines no ye bie edam so tumi frɛ na watch the wadwen ha ye ras media me so say like video no na share comment ma me na ye nko ye nim amafo nyama ya ye ntie video we.
I give you a lot of respect. When I see respect, but you don't want to give respect. Say umbu president, say president, say you be. Say, my petition. One coffee security man, if you security man also. One coffee cleaner. in the midst of our misery and the midst of the nations, nation no more. And decided say yes, I demonstration. Let's wait and postpone it. But more ahead when we were in some form of the country is in misery. And come and see our home. Obienia attends you, and you ask us to get up and come for a petition. The president says, "This is the person I have given the power to collect the petition." And you on my behalf. So is it the president that you are insulting? That you don't respect? I mean, I'm so mortified that you could stand there and look in the face of a woman and tell that woman, "Oh, you're nobody." Okay. Obi, I just cannot comprehend what happened. Obi, democracy is under threat. Under attack. Democracy is under attack. Namodi petition about president. You instrumentalize demonstration to come and put your petition across. When NDC was in power, when they do demonstrations those days, petition was 37. We insist that Jubilee House, nobody. Today you insist that some back gate, nobody stopped you. Then you say that democracy is under attack. Is that it? That nobody, you went for a demonstration protected.
Specific on the issues in Chiomokas and democracy.
I am saying then their broad theme is wrong, because it is not under attack if you are not unhindered.
But nobody will even look at her because the why no and no one so and OJ. Atem any nkwasi asema oka ye de kire yewura na nado danko akufuado eno ho nsunsanso e na eteba ne so. There is no need say maame we betra ho na wasu. In fact the young country no the Afenyo-Markin san country na onam kusok Afenyo-Markin say waka kire no. I think said the time has come say be kasa asem na kire no. Na say bia if she want to feel a victim, she will have a rare reason to feel to be a victim. But what did the mechanic see? Messi so no, they are now person want. So be to me, I have victim ankasa. You can't and so you useless woman, and she should not and ever stay somewhere and talk shit about the MPP as a party. Abujan for meeting and Ras Media GH. Yeah, the Mubesia no chanyanko ponya aduma ya sign Asia. Let's also like a video no. Subscribe to the channel, become part of the family, and make sure say you follow us on all the other various platforms, on the various social media handles. YouTube Ras Media GH, Facebook Ras Media GH, on TikTok Ras Media GH. May the video way jamo. Video we see na one team in Kambima na se makramo. Until we meet again, may the check as William Marfo, Vivian Kumama me na Mimia ba ya Afrin Poma. We about that, and I pay a mature ye, Palma Mr. Kabarima, and a Miriaba. Nana a queer afro, Papa, mature ye pa. Me the moose are not changing Uncle Poya Duma, ya sign Asia. Until we meet again. Adios.
I cut $300 million. I bet you them a contract. No, Jumano. I'm penny my house on because I could find the chassis. Now, mom, acquire expressway. Now, expressway, no. Wayi sika 1.7 billion bia to account room. Sika no fa ninsan kan escrow account dem on fa nya hwe. And na waka Ghana soldier for so mon ko clear e ko ni nema e okwan so. Na wo be mo bi contractor. Adana o ma soldier for na ko clear. E di sika da ho e na nipa ewu. We genocide. Sika no at the account mu $1.7 million and $1.7 billion at the account and $100 million ya de be yakwan no ye fa sika no mo nya kwan no and ni pa na ewu totum e wa kra kumase highway no so a genocide a crime against humanity a crime against humanity se mampani bi beba na obi ahye kwan ase kwan no ya chemulo 8 lots the least among them akufado kono na 58%. Now you hear $300 million at the awie. Now man penny bi aba. Now I say made $1.7 billion at to account we must say can the minya nyusu ye. na enipa nam kwan no so na enipa ewu saa nipa ewu nyina no a genocide a crime against humanity enti ato force no kwa na agboja Nyankopon ehwemo expressway mo ka che sa mo de 3 years de bewie enti akra Kumasi kwan yeda hoyi enkrofon fa so na omu se ya 3 years a mo bewie expressway no enti at the end no expressway no yenim muntimi wie akra Kumasi susu a bypass yi mo se mo nye enti be kosi koda wa we want me anwie wo don sakment me anwie na ne nyina afa ne se because yenim mo wo track record yenim mo oba started 200 days in high schools when we 23 no wie oba ye bisa say day schools not starting on the first term 200 no do say no buy where we account ono ye 23 Ekufuado ebe ya about 40 bisa Yera Mahama say osan ba ye Jo Mahama babio mo misa ne say such day senior high schools 200 no shase no na oja to as various stages of completion no oba ye do say ene oba bewie mo misa no Morrison says Jubilee House unit, $200 million. Yadi ma Collins Dowda say Uncle Siadine. Adan almost on basic 5,000 housing units. We are here, 1,500. When we can hear you, a son you, boho, manho you, baby anyhow, who you see that in ye, Sikama say. Yadi in the page in a court, a dinasem, or some you are Capano for Babette fee. Quadrando for the Nenema. Beya 2 billion here almost so yes coefficient that 60-40 mo fa bi nkodi na nso fa bi ni Dr. Puninom eti joma ama ba ye hwaniema akoso project odin sakika ye e wono ana ban ma wantimi anwie Commander Sugar Factory $34 million ana mampani Mahama so odi ye Commander Sugar Factory ewi ase yes e produce sugar Emma so mo koto esi chene liko gu sedin o Emma Captain Smart ko hwini no Emma mo ko ho ese ye produce sugar nie be sidne factory na ntimi am produce a teaspoon of sugar Ekufuado buy no si dabi me ma factory da ho enye ye etimi kwa kofa strategic investors na oma be invested ene ye kofa omo ena mo kofa price to house coopers or so may evaluation ye evaluation ni wie no ye se factory na esi wo no eye infidie dada and I be a chair muno every year, Nani Buono, and yet more than $12 million. If you didn't know, plant nice, you are, yes, the base sugar, Jamama say, almost $34 million a year. No, I bring a re-evaluation. Almost say, Commander Sugar Factory, no, a new $12 million. It's 34 to 12 million film. Patrol Akasin, 10 Akama Massacre Akasin. And only Adia, your mama NDC for, and that's the only reason here. Sa factory no, anya juma ne ebisi anya juma bisine. Oba ye, onyani 2 years, 240 million Ghana cedis. Also the koya kokon kitenkete. No about the catch say ekoko no, minister say me party for na kunare. No mu kun anu matwa video they send me say, honorable, ye ewe nkoko no ne ye dey pepper soup ne ewe. And you're causing financial loss to the state. In fact, we're willfully causing financial loss to the state. Now, are you weighing in area or say enkahwasem? Because okahwasem wa metal. And some penny no aba ya announcement say, Yenyan fidie bia, you bet me the track your bia IP address. And you be a baka send be anyam de biano metal and penny apaso, ubi wanoa neacho, ubi wanoa neacho. Asa tendra. Na enipa ira Mahama eba wache mo mkasa hunti no omo ye be 40 of them somebody in saying oma kasa oma try dey be on Facebook oma post dey o ha oma ye say so now for the first time in a very long while no Ghana ni bia kasa no osuro because o be kasa on social media so a o be try ese wo dwene na biem say ade a me be treat ye metimi ana anytime bia Omemuni bia da fele se bia no that nipa no is under censorship. You say ya de aye hu ato so na wo kasa bia wo kasa bia no ense ye so ne so it won't mean kira adwene se na ese wo kira adwene and a very sad a very unfortunate edubu ahenom Akufo-Addo Kofoɔ nom kɔn mo koyɛ sɛ ebetumi nya free speech. And the most painful aspect is that Omampani biya ni Ghana ha, not in the history of Ghana. Omampani biya maya, what did the atem, onwa did the atem Sura John Mahama. Onwa kasa personally, what did the Ghana for atem, did the Omampani for atem, what did the Achem for atem, what did the Asante for atem, onwa kasa to Mampani Kufa the Dean, or a Jack Toronto, or catch a Kufa the say, or a Cronfor, Nina Gabi, number Yesikamanon, what some basa, emphata, onwa kasa personally. And son and the proxies, our former Kevin Taylor, nominee idea, almost to edit the atom. As you be a, and ya atom the dear one fast war at the Abba Bemu, or no, the also Mobi and Cassa, and Mobi in the atom. And NPP for a Fred Ghana for you say demonstration air custom. Supreme Court anyone of ya. We are Ghana ni Brabontin. Nabaya wa yetre. And ya sa, a bay also been a yana semu. Abri a chiche ma wuntumi mekai omukọ ni fie Kumase se omukọ akwọchino ahayara me ne ye interview no na si Ghana for mun sori o Ghana for mun sori o MPP for mun sori o menye Ghana ni biom MPP for eye munti o ana joma ma ye mi sei na nkrofo gu fam twe ne ye sere ana ya wuntumi na nya na asem wuntumi se MPP for mun sori yeso wuntumi akoyi gold wo TV so oyi gold no umo bibi ontumi akoyi gold enne edu miracle so edu Hanan so edu ayi Mustafa Hamid so Professor Miya Kunfi enne MPP mpanifo a edi Iroko ani bie na akwani abasa nkolati si so di atentwi ejitema ontumi ka asam onsore no enna mo sore ya anka mutumi so ano mpanifo se achia ni muye esi abibu nyina man sore enne na man tinta su kokko anche John Mahama or the tribunal na matese ese dey asem say wasam call manimu a 49 days na e dey awie me domponche so man sori an tinta su kokko anche John Mahama ban a enuru next year enu December no na ya timu nyina gum na akaba omianko a and mon kan say mo amunipa wasen kom say next year June na obeyen senchene konfanoche next year June was obeyen senchene enti mon kan na mo hunu say amanfo abopo kwata by June die ni atimu nyina gum yanchi ngum so a yechiwa the allegation ato so where we have 55 million 100 million 20 million now why Ghana for him ni we lose voice we lose dignity e wa bonten enti NPP for nyina and the ordinary Ghanaian mon sorry afei ni mahunu say che ma wuntumi asem okan no na ababi egum medin e de kwaku dawuru.
Miracles Abuaje is in the studio. Good evening, Miracles. How are you?
Paul, I'm good. Yourself?
How many kilometers did you walk this morning?
So we met at the junction.
Yeah, the junction before Yoko.
Yeah, the 10 there. So if you know the kilometers from the mausoleum to the Jubilee House, and that's how much.
That's what you did.
Yes.
About 4 kilometers, maybe.
And I am very excited. I was part of such an exercise. You know, I have read a lot about how people fought for the democracy we have today. You know, for me, I'm trained by Dambuchi. So I listened a lot from him, and he has been part of, at the forefront of the new democracy we have today. And some of the stories he tells you, and seeing what happened today only encourages me that our forefathers did not go through what they went through in vain.
Yeah, absolutely.
That they have imbibed in the Ghanaian citizens the natural instinct to react when they feel oppressed. It looks as if when Ghanaians feel suppressed and oppressed, you don't have to tell them to react. Instinctively, the citizens get triggered to realize that in our national anthem and pledge is the need to resist oppressors' rule. And so the numbers I saw, the enthusiasm, the commitment, tells me that our leaders will be proud of us. Those who came before us will be proud of us. That we can lose everything as a people. We can go through every form of struggle as a people. But what we would never take is a country where we lose our voices, lose our liberty, lose our freedom because of the mandate we give to a few to manage our resources and take care of us. I have heard stories about how people fought military regimes in this country. I have read about how people had to go into exile in this country. How students like Honorable Damboche and Co, Atta Kennedy, so several of them, you know, had to fight systems to be able to get us to where we are. And at some point, you know, about a month ago, I wrote to His Lordship, the Chief Justice, on behalf of the People's Forum.
Okay.
Yeah, where I raised concerns about why I believe the executive is behaving the way they are behaving. And one of the things I said was, if the executive are too comfortable with the judiciary, they would oppress the people. Because the judiciary is like the gatekeeper between our liberties, our freedom of speech, and tyranny and dictatorship. And immediately the executive feel that they could get the judiciary to do everything or anything they want, they would oppress the people. You see, power is a very strange thing. Once you have it and you fall in that bubble and you don't get to wake up quickly, you will do anything and everything. I mean, later on you may regret. We've seen a lot of dictators regret later on in life. We've seen a lot of military people regret later on in life. But when you are in that bubble, you need something to remind you that there is a limit to everything you do. And the judiciary has a responsibility to do that. And I have felt that in the past months, our judiciary has been in a very romantic relationship with the executive. And that romance, for me, is a worry. That I, for one, am very loud. I talk a lot. I like to speak because I feel speech is not a weapon. It doesn't kill. In other countries, they are pulling guns, they are throwing ammunitions all over the place, and if all I can do is to speak, then I'll speak up. But recently I fear. I fear because I feel that if I don't take care, my mouth will put me into trouble. That I believe we have an executive that wants to hear only what is palatable to their ears, and that they test citizens who challenge the status quo, criticizing them in a way that they don't want. And that even if you criticize them, do it in a way they prefer. I fear. And I fear because if I come into a confrontation with the executive today, my resort will be the judiciary. But I'm worried that if I look at how the proximity between the executive today and the judiciary, maybe they have their ears, I don't. And that worries me. And that is why I believe you saw tens of thousands of people on the streets today beginning to realize that it is not about some class of people in our society. This thing started from 7 January 2025.
7 January?
Yes. When this elements of this government started invading people's homes, ransacking people's homes, invading people's businesses and offices, drawing people from their cars on the streets, and there were applause. They got carried away. They could come on air and, you know, proudly talk about how they've gone to somebody's house and pulled their CCTV cameras and even release videos of how they've invaded people's homes and people's privacies. It was like a fashion on the street in this country, early 2025. At that time when some of us raised the concerns, I believe some people who came to the street today felt that, oh, this is the political class having their own little game. But I always said that politicians, the way we are, if we start something and you encourage us and you don't put brakes in our way, we'll abuse it. And today, it has moved from the political class. It has moved from the MPP being attacked by the NDC to ordinary citizens. And that is why you see a woman who is on an open source platform like TikTok doing her own thing, being dragged from Boma, Bompata, Yeji to Accra to be tried for insult.
But they think they are members of the MPP.
You know, the point is that the assumption we have in this country is anybody that speaks against MPP is NDC. And anybody that speaks against NDC is MPP. You understand? You know, I'm very integral in the comms architecture of our party. And I can tell you, most of the people that have been dragged to the court, some of them jailed for a year and co, are not people that we would say we can relate to. Of course, like we know immediately.
They are not your communicators.
No, but of course, immediately they say something against the somebody in the executive and you pick them up, then obviously you are picking up an anti-voice. And we are the opposition leaders in the country as a party. So obviously there are people that we need to, help and protect, because anybody speaking against the government, one way or the other, is pushing the ideals and views of the opposition group. But they don't necessarily fall within the bracket of the MPP. So that's the first error that they make. And there are people who are being jailed for a year. People are being given 3 weeks remand, 2 weeks remand for insults, like insults. And Paul, I keep saying that politicians and footballers are the people who should never be sensitive to insults. Listen, there are footballers like Stephen Appiah and Co. We still call them Stephen Appiah. Stephen Appiah and Co. They are uncles and fathers. But because they are footballers, you still call them Stephen Appiah, Lai Kingston. Politicians, Nana Akufo-Addo, John Mahama, Kofo, you can't be sensitive to these things. Because you are,
I never thought about
that. Because you are in that space. You can't be.
So we don't say President Kofo.
No, but you see, in conversations, you'd easily get President Kofo. When you were making your presentation, on 3 or 4 occasions, you just say Kofo, Akufo-Addo, John Mahama. Like, you can be sensitive. You can be called uncle at home, you can be called daddy Mahama at home, daddy Kofo at home. But to us,
we don't care.
We don't care. We are that politician, you are that football.
You are property.
But immediately politicians become sensitive to things like insults. Then there's a problem. And today it's rampant. And you know why it's become rampant? Because when these elements in this government started invading people's homes, destroying people's properties in their homes and all of that, they got a certain energy. A party that goes out to promise the people that vote for me when I come, I will jail people in opposition. It's a dangerous party. Because you see, we have rules and laws in a country. You can do whatever you want to do. But if the promise is not to say I will use the law, but I will jail people. That's dangerous.
Yeah.
And that seems to have festered into the minds of the executive and has been leading them on for almost 2 years. And guess what happened? They began to major in the minors and minoring in the major things, forgetting that ultimately time will catch up with you. And the people will be asking you for the core things that, mean the most to them. And that's why you're seeing people on the streets. The teachers who came on the street today, they are tired of everyday reporting of how you've harassed people. They are tired of every day they hear in the news, all the things they hear you've achieved in the news is how many people you've harassed. That is good. Keep on doing it because the laws are there. They don't go away. These are permanent features of our democracy. So keep doing it. But once you are doing it, can you show us your scorecard for employment? Can you show us your scorecard for businesses? Can you show us your scorecard for health, education?
They have a good scorecard for the stabilization of the cities.
So
the general economic stability.
Fantastic. Early days, I was one of the few people that came here and give credit to them for how the dollar was doing, how the inflation. I've always said it, but there's a problem. The problem is that macroeconomic indicators, sexy macroeconomic indicators in itself are not the end. But they are just the means.
But they are the beginning.
No, it's just a means. So we've talked enough about the means. We've spoken about it for close to a year and a half.
As being the only standout.
People are beginning to say that, okay, can we not see the results? When are we saying it? Because think about it, Paul. If you're a citizen of a country, one leader was posting 23% inflation, 14 cedis to the dollar, and was giving you fuel price at 14.99. Let me repeat, 23% inflation, 14 cedis to dollar. Was selling inflation to you, was selling fuel to you as 14.99. Another government tells you, vote against them, let them go. I will fix it. I will make your life better. I'll give you better conditions of living. Then he comes to office. Fantastic. First 12 months, inflation dropped from 12 to 5. Right? Then dollar moves from...
Inflation from 23 to 5.
23 to 5. 23 to 5. Dollar from 14 to...
10.
10. At some point, they said it was even coming to 8. Okay? But let's use prevailing condition. Inflation is below 5% now. Dollar is around 12.5. And yet, I am buying my fuel at 15 cedis, higher than when it was 23% inflation and 14 cedis. Which one would you go for? Would you prefer a sexy macroeconomic indicator that gives you a higher fuel, or macroeconomic indicators that gives you lower fuel. Remember, in a developing economy like ours, fuel is a big determinant in everything. Industries, transport cost. Once transport cost goes up, it affects everything. As we speak, when inflation was 23% and dollar and fuel was 14.99 in this country, people traveling from Circle to Kumasi were paying 90 cedis for their bus. Today, when inflation is 5%, when fuel dollar is 12.5, people are paying 120 cedis from Circle to Kumasi. If you're a citizen, which government would you prefer? So macroeconomic indicator in itself is just a means. If it doesn't reflect in the microeconomy, it's a waste of everybody's time. And that is why the cocoa farmer today will come on the streets. That what is going on? When you told us the economy was bad, the government was paying us for our cocoa beans. Today, we have been owed for close to 16 months for the first time in the history of this country. And that government is paying us in tots. Today, we have cocoa beans and we can't even sell. That is a worry. If you go and promise a young student who attended senior high school for free because his parents are poor, that you know what? I know you are poor. That's why you attended the free senior high school, which is good because immediately it was introduced, a lot of people were able to access secondary education. However, have you asked yourself, after secondary education, how are you going to move on to the next level? I think that if you are poor for secondary education and you needed help, then you will need help for university education. So vote against the guy that gave you free secondary education and vote for me because I am going to open access to tertiary education for you by ensuring that when you finish secondary education, you pay nothing. You pick your bag and go to the university because I will pay to the universities as grants your fees, and that I will make sure you don't go through stress in accessing university education.
For your first year.
The guy looks at the student looks at the man that gave them free and say, oh, you know, you have been very kind to me. Look at you. But for you, I couldn't access secondary education. But Charlie, you have no other plans for me post secondary education. This guy, yes, he didn't give me secondary education free, but he says he will make university free. So they all went to queue and voted for you because you promised them stress-free level 100 fees. No single Ghanaian student since this government came to office, 2 batches, has received stress-free level 100 fees. They will come on the streets. Why? Because they feel betrayed.
I heard you on this matter when you were speaking on Joy, and just it's a clarification. So, but it's interesting what you say. So you say the promise was there not a sort of I'll pay you back in the promise?
No, the promise was clear, and the video is there. In fact, if you ask Apreku them, they can pick it from UPSA. He says that.
Is it not? I'll give you the money back. You can play
the video.
What did he say?
He says that he doesn't understand why these students who are poor go through free senior high school. Then when they finish, they need to find money before they can access tertiary education. The object was that if you don't take care, because they don't have the money, when they get the admission, they can't go to school. So I am removing that barrier. When you get admission to tertiary, just enter. We'll pay your fees. In fact, the word you use is we'll pay to the universities as grants. So that you just take your bag and go to school without stress. Now, this is what is transparent. When you now finish secondary education and you get university admission, government is not there for you. You don't have money. You can't go to the school. If you don't get the money, you can't go to school. What it means is that promise that when you get admission and you don't have money, you can go to school has not been fulfilled. What rather happens is that when you get the admission, you must go and hustle, stress, look for a possible loan, and then go and pay your university fees. Then if you are lucky and you get the money and you enter university, then you can apply and be reimbursed. Now the problem here is that the people for which this stress-free loan was introduced, the poor people, they are the ones who don't get the money to go. So they remain home. That is why, if you check, in the last 2 academic years, even though there is level 100 no stress-free fees, you still have a lot of people on Facebook saying, if I don't get money, I can't go to tech. And you see people raising funds for them. So these were your target group. They remain at home. There are still students who are at home that couldn't access tertiary university.
If it's a government situation, can't you walk into a bank, a private bank, and collect the money because government is going to pay?
Can you show us one bank in Ghana that has a product that says that you can use the government's promise that if you get university, they will give you and give you a loan. Just mention one.
Maybe they haven't thought about it, but
no,
yeah,
but just mention one.
There's none. I don't
exactly.
know,
so if I come from, so there was this guy that Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo gave scholarship.
But is it not a step
Hold
forward?
on, gave scholarship to go to the UK to go and study. We found him. He had admission to University of Ghana to study economics. He had finished free SHS. Amweni, but he was home. You know why? Because he had admission, but he didn't have money. He was farming, hoping to raise money, and then in the future he will go to school. So for somebody like Amweni, who went to queue for you and voted for you because of no stress-free fees at level 100, he still remains at home. Where is that promise? That
Amweni has been moved one step forward, that the bill that is looking at you, there's somebody who will pay.
Yes.
So go as far as you can to get. That's one step forward.
But
it's still stressful.
So you see, so again, so that is where the issue is. So the promise is different from what you are delivering.
Well,
you see, people's expectations in marketing, expectation and satisfaction are friends. People's satisfaction level is based on what their expectation. In fact, the promise you give them is what triggers their expectation. Their satisfaction will be based on the promise you give them and the expectation they set for themselves. If you give me a promise and I set my expectation and you don't do it, I will not be satisfied. So the fact is that no level 100, no stress-free fees for level 100 has not been done. Rather, what the government has introduced is post-stress fee support. That after you have been able to go through stress and you are lucky enough to go to the university, then government will support you. Such students joined the demonstration today. But for me, what is most crucial to me is the fact that today, tens of thousands of Ghanaians said that we beg you, you can take everything away from us. You can do whatever you want to do to us, but don't take our voices away. And I'm very disappointed that there are a lot of NDC people, our friends, who are not talking.
Talking about?
No, these are people that we sat in studios with and we took, swipes at each other when they were in opposition. I don't think you yourself will admit that there has been any political party as critical as of a government like the NDC between 2021 and 2024.
Yeah, that was
Trust
feisty.
me, they were brutal.
Feisty, yeah.
The NDC 2021-2024, they were brutal.
They said some people were arrested.
This party was on air, actually calling out chief justices, calling them names. In fact, until the NDC between 2021 and 2024, I never knew that you can actually go on air and call the chief justice of the Republic, women organizer of the party, of MPP. But they did. In fact, the NDC is the one that made me realize that, hey, you can actually go on TV and promise your party people who are lawyers, and when you come, you take them to the bench. In fact, the NDC are the ones who made me realize that, hey, you can even tell the judges that they are partisan and that the bench is imbalanced and that you balance the bench. The NDC made me realize that you can actually tell a chief justice that I can't work with you. Then when I come, I'll fix it. And then indeed, you come and you do it. I never knew. They threatened army generals live on TV. They threatened police commissioners, police chiefs live on TV. Come on. Which politician in Ghana has been vilified than Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo? They made AI and edited videos of Akufo-Addo in some very unwholesome positions. They called him Sewa Broni's baby, whatever. They called him names. Akufo-Addo was called a thief, a criminal, a mafia. And all of that in this country. A whole tribe was given a tag, a Chim Mafia, in this country. We were in this country when some people went to fake a document and called it a Japadie book. We were in this country. Imagine anybody writes a Japadie book in this country. That person will be in jail today. That's a Japadie book that NDC were actually brandishing. Even the flag bearer of the NDC spoke to that document. Imagine anybody in this country, ever, you pick it and even read it on air today in Ghana, you'll be in jail. They will arrest you and tell you to come and show where you got the book from. Who was arrested for a Japadie book? That document that everybody knew was a fake document. Who was arrested? That document was a defaming document, you are aware. That document was a blackmailing document, you are aware. That document was a misinformation document, you are aware. Who was arrested in this country? But today, do you really think that that's a Japadie document that even had the Ochehini's picture on the cover will be entertained in this country? So that is where my disappointment is that, guys, especially our friends in the NDC, when we say the beauty of democracy, it is about the give and take. If you take the give and take away, Paul, there's no beauty in democracy. Immediately you take the give and take away, there's no beauty. I understand. When you are in political leadership, like you're an executive, it's always uncomfortable. It's always unpalatable. When we're in power, anytime I see NDC friends like Sami Jemfi, Erika J, Abbas Nuruddin coming to speak, then my heart. Because whether you like it or not, they are in opposition. All they are going to do is to tell you about the things you haven't done. It's part of the executive. We took it in our strides. And then you are in power. All of a sudden, you don't want us to talk. When you talk, you are targeted. And you see, there's something about government. When government targets you, there's little you can do. You can be cooking your own pepper soup, and the government will say that the pepper in the pepper soup is not enough, and so you are arrested. Today, you heard a woman by the roadside. Muncheno abayin, achechi abayin. That is what the women by the roadside were calling the government. Muncheno abayin. It's like anything at all can get you arrested in this country for anything at any point in time. And that is what, for me, brought me onto the street today that, listen, let's do whatever we have to do, but let's not take free speech away from the people. That's the only thing we have. That's the only thing that keeps us going. I don't think there's any country like Ghana. When we wake up in the morning, you have like 300 radio and TV stations, everybody discussing politics and everybody expressing their views. I don't know if you've seen any country like that.
No, it's very difficult to find.
Yes, and this is beautiful. That is the beauty of democracy thing that we are talking about. In other countries, they are pulling guns. In other countries, they are using cutlasses. We are just using words. Take it. After all, it's not as if the people in government also don't throw shades at us. You throw it, we throw it. That is the beauty. For those on TikTok, Facebook, that you have issues with, the solution is not weaponizing a certain law and throwing them in jail and intimidating them. Use the state institutions, activate state institutions like NCCE to educate and sensitize these people to understand the limits and boundaries within which they can operate with free speech. Because as we speak, somebody in Pandai somewhere is on TikTok doing TikTok live, uncoordinated. For such a person, Paul, for such a person, why are you arresting her? Instead of educating her, instead of sensitizing her, how many people can you arrest? Because TikTok is still growing.
But there's another point to everything that you've said. And the point is that all of these, those of us going on this demonstration are doing so because we have stolen money and we are afraid that Yoko is coming and we are hiding behind free speech, and there's no free speech has not been curtailed anywhere. You see some of these expressions from civil society and social media. No speech, you are afraid, you don't want to answer questions and all of that. How do you receive that, given all what you've been through in the last 1 week?
How does demonstration stop any state institution from doing their work?
Yeah, they think that, but that's what the point.
So the demonstration had nothing. I'm not sure you saw anything about the demonstration that has anything to do with accountability. Mm-hmm. Nothing, none. Mm-hmm. The demonstration was quite specific, emphatic, suppressing an oppression of free speech, selective justice, persecution of dissenting views. These have definitions in political science. They have specific definitions. They are not the same as what you are talking about. They have specific definitions. I'm a political science student.
Yeah, but they are saying that.
So they are not the same as what you're talking about.
It's being used by MPP leaders as a facade because they know that in the next few weeks they're going to catch on.
So you are government. In the midst of that noise, separate them. Deal with all you have to deal with, but give an ear to the people. That is all. Like you see, when you are government, you must be able to multitask, do everything some. But if you are focusing on just one, you will lose the other very critical element. Today, electricity has been increased by over 24% in 18 months. Water has been increased by about 15% in 18 months. Industry fuel to power industries have been increased by about 20% in 18 months. As we speak, employment has moved from 25% thereabout to 30%. All the promises you made to the people, you haven't been able to fulfill any. and you are inching towards half of your tenure. So you can't focus on just one aspect and ignore the other aspect, which even impacts on the lives of the people the more. So pursue accountability all you want. It's very important. It's good. Pursue it. But why are you sacrificing every other thing for that? Because that in itself is not an outcome. It's not an end. It's a means. So you can't sacrifice the cost of living of the people for that gives you pleasure alone. Do all. That's what we are saying. Have a cocktail of everything. Let everybody feel it. Because you made the promises to the people. When you made the promises to the people, you didn't stick to just one promise. You made several promises. Today, as we speak, Paul, can you tell me one major life-changing policy this government has introduced to this country?
They have something going on in Mahama Cares.
What's Mahama Cares?
They're buying equipment and upgrading many of these hospitals.
But hospitals, equipment, upgrading, is there any government that hasn't done that?
Every government does.
Exactly. You see, life-changing monumental things that make you distinct, unique, things that leave legacy for you. Where are they? You said you promised these people that, okay, you know, we import so much in poultry. Vote for us. When we come, we introduce Igugu Kenkete. And what Igugu Kenkete is going to do is that we're going to decentralize poultry so that we can produce more in Ghana to complement or supplement the imports and increase local production. You've sunk over 300 million Ghana cedis, and we can't find them. You've sunk 300 million of Ghanaian money. We can't find them. When somebody raises this, don't get angry at the person and say that because you've said that I'm going to target you. Like I said, let me repeat. If government targets you, even your pepper soup can become a crime. So it's easy for government to do whatever they want to do and go after anybody. But how many people can you go after? Because eventually it will catch up with you. Mm-hmm. When the people begin to get tired, like you're beginning to see, compared to today's demonstration, to the last two demonstrations that have gone on since this government came, you see the difference. Even the police, today, even the police that were even helping protect the demonstrators, you could see the demeanor have changed. The demeanor has changed. The police themselves.
They were very friendly
than it was in the past. Yeah. Why do you think it's happening that way? They are all beginning to get tired. It's tiring. When all you have from a government is when they are excited, they are persecuting, going after the opponents. The president is aware that his own party people are involved in Galamsey. Mention one of his own party people that they've picked up for any Galamsey related thing. But they are gleefully, happily going after opponents. I'm not saying the opponents who are doing Galamsey should be left scot-free. But the citizens are watching and they see the selective justice. They can identify it. They can see how you've left all your party people to destroy our water bodies all over the place. The Upper Dencher East chairman of the NDC was seen on video almost strangling a military man at a Galamsey site, asking them to leave. He's walking free. So the people can read meaning. So it gets tiring. So they begin to get tired. And that's why now you hear the women in the markets calling the government, achicha government. Because they are beginning to realize that you are using that to deflect from the real issues. You are using that to cover up the substantive matters. That is a worry. For now, it works. Momentarily, it feels good. But it will get to a point where people get tired and they'll begin to ask you the real questions. We beg government, Paul. Mm-hmm. Let us speak. Allow the people to talk. Excesses should be dealt with in two ways. Threats are criminal. Deal with it. But insults, let's use sensitization to be able to get people to move towards the center.
Especially those who are non-political.
Exactly. You see, right now, almost everybody is even becoming like a political and like reporters because of the infiltration of social media. Mm-hmm. All you need is to have a how do you call that thing? The standing thing, the tripod. And put your phone on and you have a network. And you have a show. Mm-hmm. You see what I mean? They don't need any license from you. They don't need any certification. They cannot be regulated by you. But what you need to do is not to go about arresting them and giving them. Look at what is happening with bail conditions. A lawyer was telling me yesterday that he has a client that has been in detention for 9 months, and guess what? He is on bail. But his condition says that he should bring 4 civil servants who earn not less than 30,000 cedis a month. How many civil servants in Ghana? earn up to 30,000 a month, and the guy needs 4. Because of that, he's been in detention for 9 months. Why do you treat your citizens like that?
9 months?
Yes, yes. In the past few months, haven't you seen people spend 3 months in detention because they couldn't raise bail their bail bonds and sureties? Why? Like, are you able to sleep? How are you able to breathe, knowing that indeed somebody qualifies for bail, but the only reason why you have kept him in detention is because you have deliberately given him an onerous condition that he cannot. Like, why? Poor. Nana Akufo-Addo was in power barely 18 months ago. He's gone. Oh. He's gone. And guess what? He came just about 2017, just yesterday. He's gone. He's done 8 years. All of us will leave. So why are you doing that? And when you continuously do these things, what you are doing is that you are entrenching it. And you are imbibing it into our society. And eventually it becomes a convention. You know, precedences are law. Then by the time you realize, it's become a cycle. And we all suffer. Why? Why?
That's what Afenyo-Markin says. I do you, I do me must stop.
We need to. It's important. It's extremely important. It's extremely important because it's going to consume all of us one of these days. If you are NDC, you should be worried about what is going on. Not just because MPPO, but you don't know when even your own political party. You know, sometimes you can be.
Yeah, they can use it against.
Even in opposition, as we are, there are people in opposition, and there are people in opposition in power. NDC, there are people who are in NDC and they are not part of, you know. So somebody may even come as a leader of your party, NDC, and they will use it against you because you may find yourself on the other side of, you know, within the party. So we need to speak up against it. And trust me, there are people in NDC who are not happy with this.
I've heard that.
Yeah, they tell us. There are people in NDC who don't like what is going on at all. The only thing is that they are also not speaking up, which I don't blame them. And that is why those who want to at least appeal to the government are doing it. Today's demonstration was an appeal to the government that we beg you, stop suppressing views and oppressing the freedom of speech of the people, Paul.